extra hotel night in New England.
You're going down, Manning.
That's right, I am.
Free.
4th floor. Get a massage today. I'm excited.
Extra night in Cleveland.
Don't choke on it.
Free.
Good call. I'll just cut it up and put it into a fruit salad or something. Thanks.
Extra night in San Diego.
Morning.
Take a hike.
Free.
You know I'm going to do that.
Getting world-class rewards no matter who you are.
Weather here's sweet.
Priceless.
Nice.
Get a World MasterCard and get free hotel stays and more. Send a personalized sweet talk from Peyton at priceless.com.
Senzatella's pitched very well. He's given up just 2 hits. The home run leading off the ball game to Manuel Margot after a lengthy battle, and then he gave up a triple with 1 out last inning to Will Myers, but he got the next 2 on a fly ball and a line drive to left. Little Pony always had such a smooth, powerful swing. I remember his upper deck game-winning home run against the Cubs, Marshall. That swing was the swing. That also not only was a walk-off winner, it completed a cycle for Cargo.
First pitch against Sean Marshall, who was a nasty left-handed pitcher for the Cubs. And Cargo just blasted him.
Upper tank, that's a strike with a slider, and it landed in the lap of a Cubs fan. Remember that?
Of course. I was there.
Right near the foul pole on the right field line in the upper deck.
Backstory behind it, and since nobody's here to verify it, I can tell it any way I want. Troy Tulowitzki was hitting right after Cargo, and as Tulo was getting to the bat rack, based on how Cargo was swinging, I said, don't even put on your batting gloves, you're not hitting. Cargo is leading off. Because I have to get ready. I was like, don't get ready, you're not gonna hit. First pitch, he hits it out. If you ever watch the highlight, Tulo's looking in and we're pointing at each other and I'm laughing at him, and I told him, I told you so.
That's a great story. You never told me that one. That's a great story.
I just made it up.
You did?
No, it's
Not
for
a baby.
real. It's a real story.
Kind of like Ricky in Seattle. This ball pulled to short. Cristhian Adames.
Coors Field is a great place for grouped outings. Groups of 25 or more receive discounted pricing, scoreboard recognition, and other great benefits. Call today for more information.
Remember that Ricky story with John Olerud? Because John Olerud, he'd gotten hit in the minor leagues. He had a plate in his head, so he always wore the hard hat. And he and Ricky had played together with the Mets. And somebody on Seattle perpetrated the myth, but it's one of the great stories in baseball because supposedly Ricky gets a base hit next year, and they're in Seattle, neither one playing for the Mets anymore, and he gets on first base. He says, hey, I played with a guy in New York who wore a hard hat like that. There was no truth to that story, but because it was Ricky, it got legs.
I think they played together with the Mets, Toronto, and Seattle. John Olerud and Ricky Henderson.
John Olerud could hit. 2 balls and a strike on Austin Hedges. Hedges hits this ball well straight away. Blackman gets back, reaches up. And you know what? When you're 0 for 20 and now 0 for 21, you just can't catch a break. Because he can't hit a ball better than he just hit that.
No, I bet you they're going to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, get the fried chicken, and do the whole major league thing.
They have to. Here's our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question of the night. These have been a lot of fun this year. Thank our good friends at CenturyLink for providing us with the material each night. Here's the question: who will finish highest in the Rookie of the Year voting? Will it be Freeland, Senzatella, Renfroe, or Manuel Margot?
It's always hard to compete with position players. Right now, Margot looks pretty good. But based on what Kyle Freeland did, first start, Coors Field, and what Senza's doing right now,
Ground ball to first. That's Mark Reynolds territory. 1-2-3, fifth inning for Senzatella. Rockies won, Padres won. Mark Reynolds will lead it off when we come back.
And his team has scored 15 runs over the first 2 games of this series. Here's his starting lineup for Game 3, brought to you by Honda, with Charlie Blackmon and DJ LeMahieu, 2 of the hottest hitters in the majors at the top. David Dahlbat's cleanup. Carlos Gonzalez getting the game off. Steven Cardullo making the start, hitting a home run in the first game today. And Nick Hundley does the catching for Jeff Hoffman. Bud Norris gets the ball. Bit of a surprise. Rich Hill was scheduled to start, but scratched because of the pitches that he threw during warm-ups last night. And so the day after that, former spot of the blister, a little bit flared up. And didn't want to rush him in there. So Norris makes the start. It's his second against Colorado, and in fact his Dodger debut came against the Rockies. It was his best start in a Dodger uniform. Gave up only 2 hits over 6 shutout innings. Dodger Stadium back in early July. He starts Blackmon with a fastball, strike 1.
Charlie Blackmon pretty much has shown that he is a very good low ball hitter. The pitch that turned Bud around was the high, kind of medium height cutter to these lefties, because lefties had dominated him over his career. But when he went to the cutter, that should be a good pitch against Charlie.
He's sitting close to 400 since the end of July. Norris is 1-1. Blackmon takes it way up and away. 2-1. Blackmon 1 for 5, knocked in a run in the first game today. 3rd year as the everyday center fielder for the Rockies, and having by far his best season here in his age 30 campaign. On 2-1, Blackmon swings through it. 2-2. Bud Norris missed the first 2 weeks this month on the disabled list with a back stiffness. And in 3 games since returning, 9 runs over 9 1/3. Downhill with a 2-2. Blackmon slashes it foul. Big bouncer to Chase Utley. Blackmon's the first out.
Well, let's take a look at the Dodgers defense behind Bud Norris, brought to you by Clamato. And out there in left field is Andrew Toles. Toles was penciled in to play yesterday, but they got rained out. He was going to face the lefty Tyler Anderson. But instead, you got Howie Kendrick giving a rest for game 2, and Dave Roberts going with the lefty out there in left field.
You're a big fan of his, aren't you?
I mean, look at what he's been doing since his call-up. He's just been hitting. It's getting on base, trying to provide a spark.
DJ LeMahieu, National League's leading hitter. 345 the average for the former Cub. He was a 267 hitter 2 years ago. Hit 300 for the first time last year. Was an all-star, but still under the radar. And even now, he manages to fly under the radar despite leading the league.
He uses a lot of different swings up there. Kind of a thrasher at times. He's really good at spoiling the ball away. He's really good at figuring out a way to get his hands in and force the ball to the outfield grass on the ball in. Very athletic in the batter's box. It looks like, you know, there's a lot of loose parts, but he has the ability to have a very accurate bat.
Norris is 2-1. 2-2.
And I know what you mean when you say flying under the radar. And some would say that might be hard when you're 6'4" and your presence out there and you're a second baseman. And that's the other thing when it comes to hitting. You're thinking, okay, being 6'4" can have the potential to get long with his swing, and you can see pitchers try to exploit that or find that long swing, but he does not have one. He doesn't have a big hole in swing at all. He makes contact, doesn't strike out a whole lot, and he also has power.
And takes one inside to run the count full. DJ stands for David John. He was born in California, born in Visalia. Bounced around a few different towns in California in his early years, then to Las Vegas and Wisconsin, then Michigan. On 3-2, a late swing to protect and set up another 3-2 pitch. Played his college ball at LSU and won a College World Series there in 2009. Loved by his teammates here in Colorado. Doesn't say a whole lot, doesn't show much emotion, but in the way he goes about his business, one of the quiet leaders of that Rockies clubhouse. Charlie Blackmon, who's one of his best friends and the guy that hits above him in the order, said somebody recently, a few weeks ago, hit him in kind of a retaliation from something that happened earlier in the game. And Charlie said, oh man, the fastest way to make our clubhouse hate your team is to hit DJ LeMahieu. And he walks against Norris.
Bud's been with the Dodgers now for 10 games, an ERA north of 5. The 10 games prior to becoming a Dodger, an ERA just barely over 2. So he really hasn't pitched up to the standards of what the scouts saw and what we were expecting. But he still feels like it's in there. He's just been so inconsistent at times with his release point. He can mow people down for a few innings, and all of a sudden, those walks start to creep up.
Nolan Arenado got his 113th run batted in earlier today. The first inning double in this same situation with LeMahieu at first. Arenado pulled a double into the left field corner, and LeMahieu scored all the way from first, just beating the relay from Seager. The 1-0. Sinks low, 2-0. Bud Norris has pitched in 5 games in this ballpark in his career. Had 3 scoreless relief appearances last year while he was with the Padres, but while with the Astros in 2011, 2012, got rocked in a pair of starts here. 3-0. 2011, 5 runs in a start. And then in 2012, one of the worst outings of his career came here. And many guys can say that. But Bud gave up 9 runs in 1 2/3 in a game here.
That will change everything. You change your confidence, it'll change your ERA. It does happen in this ballpark, and you really have to leave here and think about it as almost you came to a different league for 3-4 games. This is another planet when it comes to pitching.
Been careful with Arenado, and now on 3-0. Walks him. Back-to-back one-out walks. And they're at first and second for David Dahl.
Well, you can tell what was between Bud Norris's 2 ears there, what he was thinking. I'm going to keep the ball down. I'm going to keep the ball down. He just couldn't keep it down and throw a strike. He was down there below the knee. Understanding that in this ballpark, you want as many ground balls as possible.
Dahl 2 more hits in the first game today, and has hit safely in 31 of his 34 games as a big leaguer. One of the many reasons they're excited about their future here in Denver.
Just looking at Norris right now, struggling to find that strike zone. And this is one of the situations, yeah, he's starting this game, but at the same time, even Dave Roberts touched on it. This is going to be a bullpen day, so he's got to act like coming out of the bullpen and just empty the tank early. I know it's the first inning, but it's not a matter how deep you go. It's just shutting them down.
Base hit to left. LeMahieu hits third and comes home. Toll's throw to the plate, cut off by Norris, and this game's tied at 1.
You see that, see Tolles coming in. We talked about Tolles as well early about out there in the defensive left field. The one thing about Tolles, he's got a strong arm out there on the outfield. We've seen that in his short time up here with the Dodgers. And this ball was hitting hard. There was going to be a chance of throwing somebody out at home here as he gets the ball because he can make up a lot with that arm. The interesting thing here is where Bud Norris was to cut that ball off. But Norris should be behind home plate in case of an overthrow.
He needs to be behind home plate. The frustration of giving up the hit here in the first inning, walking two guys, got to him with his positioning. Chase Utley did a great veteran move because as soon as the ball was dead and out of play, he ran in there, grabbed the ball right from Bud out of his hand, threw it out of play, got a new one, and took that time to give him a little pep talk. That's the second time in a couple outings Chase Utley's had to come in there and do that. If you remember back, another outing Bud had where he was struggling with the rubber and the dirt around it. And all of a sudden, Chase came in as he started to peck at it and said, "Is it okay now?" And Bud said, "Yeah." And he said, "Let's forget about it and let's compete."
Gerardo Parra taking a ball. Parra 2 for 3 in the first game. Knocked in a run, scored a run. And the Dodgers are very familiar with from his time in the West with the Diamondbacks. First season with the Rockies now. And has spent most of it on the disabled list with a bad ankle injury that he suffered early on this season. Just returned a few weeks ago. Signed when he was 17 years old with the D-backs out of Venezuela in 2004. Hit a home run in his very first at-bat in the majors off of Johnny Cueto. On 2-0 against Bud Norris, he slashes it foul and it's 2-1. He was the 100th player in Major League history to homer in his first at-bat. That seems high. Seems like a lot of times for that to happen.
You think 100 sounds high?
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of first at-bats.
That's true. That's true.
This game's been around for a long time.
So 2-2.
A normal home run hitter hits a home run, let's say, once every 16 to 20 at-bats. So once every 40 at-bats, first at-bats, maybe a home run gets hit. Once every 50 at-bats. So have there been 5,000 players that have played in the big leagues who've had first at-bats? I don't know. We could look that up.
Well, you think about it, just even in September alone, when you start getting those call-ups, you're going to have a lot of just
first at-bats in September for each team.
Exactly.
Yeah, Norris strikes him out. Or did he get a piece? Now Parra was headed back to the dugout. And home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy threw his hands in the air as if to say that's a foul ball. Come on back.
Well, he called foul ball, but he was also looking at third place umpire to see if it hit the ground. And the third place umpire is saying it did hit the ground. That's Gabe Morales over there saying that it did, and it did hit the ground.
I don't think he fouled it off.
But no, he didn't foul it off, and that's home. The third base umpire can't see whether he fouled it off or not. That's really the home plate umpire to know that and hear if he heard something for the foul ball. But usually just ask him to see if it hits the ground at all, and he was correct in saying that it did hit the ground.
And so Parra with a fresh opportunity here. And on 2-2, he pulls it by first and foul.
A lot of time, hitter's reaction will tell you if they fouled it off. Take a look at Parra. Going back to the dugout. Oh, yeah.
Well, Phil Cuzzy put his hands up right away for a foul ball. But you're right. He didn't act like he fouled it off.
From the replay, it looked like he missed it by 2-3 inches.
Hopefully it'll be a moot point in the second here. With 2 on and 1 out, and a tie game in the first. Here comes Norris. Outside.
The story of this game is on the mound. Bud Norris turning around his mentality, competing, getting a little confidence out there, because this lineup and this inning, just being out there in the first inning, it could change this whole game. This is a huge pitch. This is Bud's third 3-ball count this inning.
Only 12 of the 26 pitches he's thrown have been strikes. His payoff to Parra bounces in, and he's walked the bases loaded.
When somebody's missing by that much in hitters counts, sometimes it's about they don't have a belief that they have what'll get them out, and they've got to make something extra special. Yes, you can be out of rhythm. Yes, your body can be out of sorts and you can't find it. But also there's something going on between your ears, and it's usually a lack of confidence that this pitch is going to get somebody out.
And so an early visit from Rick Honeycutt. And Dave Roberts said between games that while this is Bud Norris starting, that this will be more or less a bullpen game. Norris had been moved to the bullpen recently, with Ross Stripling making the start in the first game today, and what would have been Norris's spot in the order. But when you say bullpen game, it's somewhat hedging your bet. You still hope that Bud Norris can get you 5-6 innings.
We've got reinforcements in the bullpen, 6 fresh arms that didn't throw yesterday, didn't throw in game 1. You also have the September call-ups that are on the horizon in hours. But a double play ball right here, keeping the score at 1-1 would be huge.
It's Cardullo. At his first career home run during the first game, and unloads on this one. Toll's back at the track, at the wall, leaping, can't get it. Cardullo has hit a grand slam.
Talked about it in the first game, him having a birthday today. Say some people celebrate a birthday month, some celebrated a birthday week. Talked about him getting called up and the perseverance, playing independent ball for the last 4 years and finally making it to the big leagues. And now, not only a home run in the first game on his birthday, now a grand slam in the second game. You can see the excitement in that dugout. That excitement is strictly for Cardullo. Obviously, they're happy they put 4 runs on the board, but there's an extra excitement just for everything he's done, and to see him get that grand slam.
Strike 1 on Nick Hundley.
Every player in that dugout on the Rocky side can relive the pain and the work that they put in to get to the big leagues, because his is so evident. So if they struggled in Double-A but finally made it to the big leagues, or they made it here quick but it was tough through high school and college, you remember all your slumps when you think, I'm not going to make it.
Or how many times throughout, in your professional career, you're thinking, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. Yeah. You just have that little doubt, that little bit that creeps in your mind. And for Cardullo, the doubt was never there. He even going to independent ball.
Seager is short off of the ground ball from Hundley. 2 out.
That's what makes it extra special for everybody. When one of your teammates does that.
So Cristhian Adames with the bases empty and 2 gone. Swinging and missing, strike 1. Right after the Dodgers are able to grab the first bit of momentum in this series with Utley's leadoff home run in the top of the first, the Rockies respond with a 5 spot against Norris in the bottom half. It's 0-2. Adames to left. Toles won't get there, and it's a foul ball.
Close but foul.
Adames in the first game had his first 3-hit game of the season. Limited action. It's been mostly Trevor Story at short. Here comes an 0-2, and it bounces in. Rockies only have 2 hits in this inning, but 3 Norris walks have all come around to score. The big blow, Cardullo's grand slam. That's a high fly ball to deep right center. That thing is deep, and it's off of the wall. Adames came into the day with 1 triple on the season. He's got 2 today.
Well, when you're swinging the bat well in the first game, you're kind of hoping there's a doubleheader and that's Adames right there, and he drives it. It was a valiant effort out there in center field by Jock Peterson. He almost comes up with an unbelievable play as he's going back, and it just tips off his glove, brings that in, and Jock Peterson is upset because I guarantee he believes he should have had that. And if he makes that, that would have been just an unbelievable play. Great effort by Jock.
And so the Rockies have batted around in this first inning. Jeff Hoffman taking a ball. Looking for his first major league hit. Utley's got the bouncer. And the inning is over, but the Rockies get 5 runs against Bud Norris, keyed by Cardullo's grand slam, and it's 5-1 after 1.
Hey, Teddy, I hate to bother you. You sent my melon to Peyton, P-E-Y.
Groceries, $41.
That's awesome, man. Charlie!
Oil change, $25.
You're good, too. Decaf!
Lunch,
Decaf!
$12.
Great shift today, guys. Nice salad bar.
Your favorite players,
Yes!
priceless.
Yes!
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
You signed the bread to my little brother. He loves you.
Tonight after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, we'll have a preview of Sunday's New York Jets at New England Patriots game. NESN Sports Today is presented by People's United Bank. The technology is as helpful as the people.
What do you think? How many touchdowns Pats win that one by?
Oh, I hate to get into the the points, but they're playing awfully good, aren't they?
The Jets are horrible.
I mean, what is the spread? 21?
I haven't even looked yet.
Is that what the spread is?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
What was it last week?
It was up there pretty good.
Xander is 0 for 1. He's popped up, making him 1 for 7 against the toughest pitcher he's faced, he says. Jeff Samardzija, who has a 4-run cushion. It's sharply, but a big hop there for Adames. Low throw and dug out by Belt for the out. 1 away.
That's a horrible feeling when you make a throw like that, and you get all the time in the world, and you just make a bad throw, and you just hope, you just pray that the first baseman can bail you out. He threw a cross-seamer, got the seams the right way, but a little bit short, but Belt does the job. Yeah.
Boy, Adames' shoes are kicking from up here, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of it earlier. I hope he strikes out looking.
Oh, he'll scoop this one. Spins around and gets him. Got to be the shoes.
Yeah. You want to drop a pair of shoes on him, right, Jerry?
That's what I'm talking about. If he strikes out looking, you can drop a pair of shoes on him. A great play right here, though.
Pick.
Took a base hit away from Devers. A bullet by Devers. And this time he makes the accurate throw to first base.
Those do stand out.
Yes, they do.
You know, when we play with the Red Sox, you'd have to wear those drab looking shoes that we used to wear. Now at least they let the players do what they want. Don't you think? And some guys wear the white shoes.
Vasquez with a mile-high fly, but not deep. Dickerson in on it. And that's all for the Sox.
Three to 2 Giants as we start the last of the 6th. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Philip Deal, the left-hander, is in. And the first pitch, 90-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike.
He's been impressive in this series. Deal, a 2-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider.
Quickly 0-2 to Longoria, who singled and flied out to right. Way off the outside. Very slight of build left-hander. And the Rockies have a right-hander, Wes Parsons, getting ready in their bullpen now. The Giants bullpen is busy too. And Longoria, he's a little late on this fastball. Is there something, is that motion a little deceptive? He's only throwing 99, I say only, but 90-91, not 98-99.
Now, the point you made about Deal being slight of build, I mean, he's not a big guy. Anytime you have a guy out there and he's not big and he's got an average fastball, they call him sneaky.
Trevor Story, and he got it, and just barely. Story, an outstanding defensive player. He was battling the wind and the sun, the harsh glare of the sun on that one.
Use your gloves, shadow your face, use your sunglasses. You need all the help you can get when you're dealing with a September sun in the afternoon games.
Yastrzemski, who hit a home run as a pinch hitter in the 4th inning against Jesus Chinoco, who had come on in relief of Freeland. So Yaz 1 for 1 in the game. Right to the second baseman Hampson, and 2 gone. So Yaz is 1 for 2. Deal getting the first 2 hitters in this inning.
Now we go back to the 4th inning in a pinch hit roll. The first time he has done it this year, where he's pinch hit and homered. And this was a long shot. And that's been the difference in this game.
Now the Giants send Donovan Solano to the plate as a pinch hitter. Solano, who's had a problem with his calf, which is a real problem for an athlete. But able to pinch hit here, and he's been one of the Giants' top hitters, hitting .337 his first go round as a Giant. And that's a base hit, another hit. He's had 9 hits in 29 pinch hit at bats, hitting over 300 as a pinch hitter.
That's remarkable. And how many times have we seen him go to the right side of the field in a pinch hit role, just like he does here against Deal? And it doesn't matter if they're lefties or righties. I mean, he is so good at shooting the ball out the other way. So with him getting the base hit, he'll be pinch run for.
So Gerber is the pinch runner. He's a pretty fast runner. Donovan Solano. His teammates, what do they call him? Donnie Baseball? Their nickname for Donovan is Donnie. So Gerber, the runner at first. Here's Adames. And ball 1. Blocked by Butera to keep that runner at first. The Giants have the left-hander. Well, they had the left-hander, but no longer. It's now Anderson Franco warming up in the Giants bullpen. Wes Parsons, a right-hander, is up in the Colorado pen. 2 down. And a ball and a strike.
That's a good slider right there. Big break.
Here's Parsons. $30,350, the official paid crowd today. A lot of people trying to stay out of the direct sunlight. It's one of those warm days where it feels especially toasty in the sun. Giants home attendance just under 2.6 million with 3 days to go. So they could still finish up right around 2.7 million in their home attendance. And the last we saw, there were still tickets available for Bruce Bochy's final game on Sunday, which is also Fan Appreciation Day. A lot of prizes will be given out. There's a ground ball foul. 2-2. And the special ceremonies before the game, after the game, and a lot of surprises. They won't tell us all the things that are going to happen. Bruce Bochy has been surprised a couple of times this week already with special guests. Joe Torre came in to visit with him. They managed against each other when Bruce Bochy had his first team in the World Series back in 1998, the Padres, against Joe Torre's Yankees. And then Wednesday night, Goose Gossage was here. And Bruce Bochy's playing career. Goose Gossage was a battery mate when they went to the World Series in 1984, the Padres and the Tigers in that World Series. Goose, of course, is a Hall of Famer. Joe Torre, a Hall of Famer. And a lot of people expect that Bruce Bochy will join them one day.
It's just a matter of time.
I said to Joe Torre on Tuesday night, I said, you know, the way Bochy managed, and it was entirely different than the way he managed in the regular season. In the postseason, it kind of reminded me of you in that great run you had with those Yankees. And he said, well, why do you think I like him so much? Kind of reminded me of me.
And Joe Torre is one of the most interesting guys in all of baseball because of, think about it, what he's done. He was a great player, played 17 years, National League Most Valuable Player. He was a broadcaster, I think, for 5 or 6 years. And then he won over 2,300 games as a manager at the big league level. And now, I mean, he's in charge of the umpires. I mean, he's done so many things in this game.
Down the left field line with the runner going. And Tapia can't get to it. And Gerber's going to be waved. Arenado's got a great arm. The throw is waiting for him. Inning over. Dwayne Kuiper will be back to take you the rest of the way. On to the 7th inning, still 3-2 Giants.
Red 88.
And now another priceless pep talk from Peyton Manning.
Bummed about that gut. Wish you had rock hard abs. Look, I'm going to be honest. Unless you're under the age of 23 or a professional football player, it's probably not going to happen. If I were you, I'd just buy some bigger shirts.
And this has been another priceless pep talk from Peyton Manning. Go to priceless.com for a personalized pep talk you can send to a friend.
For John Gray, it was just a different kind of night. Again, a double-digit strikeout night, but a blue base hit, and then back-to-back home runs made for a frustrating finish for John.
End up throwing 106 pitches, or just 7 less than what he threw last time out when the 9-inning complete game back at Coors Field. Well, we'll turn the baseball over now to Jeff Hoffman. Last made an appearance on the 14th down at Arizona. In the game he went 4 2/3, 8 hits, 7 runs. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. 22 1/3. And part of the reason why they moved him down to the bullpen was to start to limit the innings that he was working after just his second year coming off of the Tommy John.
Gets Corey Seager on a 1-pitch out on a line drive to Charlie Blackmon. For Jeff Hoffman as well, a fair amount of tinkering, or tinkering isn't maybe the best description, sort of refining going on with Steve Foster and especially Darren Holmes, who was wonderful at analyzing the mechanics of pitching and trying to get Jeff back into the kind of rhythm that'll make him as dominant of a pitcher as they think he can be.
Well, and because of that, it'd be more consistency. And that's what every player looks for, is consistency, whether it's at the plate or on the field or on the mound. So you can, it's called a repeatable delivery.
Tough chance for Nolan, and not quite in time. Jeff Hoffman made a good pitch, but that's Justin Turner, and he sees a Rockies uniform, and good things happen for him.
Well, and you get lucky when you have the swinging bunt. You couldn't have rolled one out here better if you tried to just lay one down the line with Nolan playing back, but he makes it pretty close at first base. Justin Turner beats it by a step, but Nolan on the Subaru Supermo comes in. We've seen him barehand. He barehands the ball as well as anybody in the game, just charging and then being able to find the grip as he's making another stride to make the throw.
And that aspect of it, that Jeff, I don't want to say he ho-hummed it, but that's because he's done that so many times when he played on the infield in the big leagues. But barehanding that is not as easy or as simple as the great infielders make it appear.
And I've said this before, I've used the analogy, it's almost like Nolan has Velcro in his bare hand while he's catching the ball, and then it magically disappears as he gets ready to throw it. Because as a ball's bounding, if it hits you in the wrong spot, it starts to hurt, and then it'll throw it off, or there might be spin where you catch it on the side of the baseball.
1 ball, 1 strike, and Nolan, as he says, all the things that he does on the field, he says most of them, if not all of them, I've practiced, so that my anticipation, so that my mechanics are something that I'm already comfortable in doing. 1-2 the count on Gonzalez with 1 on 1 out. People have heard me talk about it many times, and Nolan and I have had some great discussions about Omar Vizquel. And Omar, of course, is a youngster in Venezuela. He said early in his life his glove was a cut up milk carton. So he goes, I had a better chance of catching the ball in my bare hand than I did with the contraptions that we would wear.
And then he does it in the Chris Bosio no-hitter.
Yeah.
Late in the game, he barehands the ball in the 9th inning when nobody else would have the courage to do that.
Yeah, so many times he did it in the hole in the 8th inning of Game 7 of the World Series.
Yes.
Blackmon will play it on a couple of bounces, but Turner will get to third. Looked like a changeup away, but not down enough, and Adrian Gonzalez.
Well, and then Adrian Gonzalez. Yeah, and he hits it like a changeup because he catches it off the end of the bat. To give us a better look, it turns over, but watch the contact point. But see how he leaned over to get to that ball? That helps create a little bit more length. So he hits it to center field, and then Justin Turner over at third base is just one of those ball players that it's not fast, but he's a good base runner, and that was a smart read.
Dodgers, a couple of 2-run innings. Now they've got Grandal, who knocked in the first 2 runs. Like a lot of young pitchers, and Jeff was pointing it out with John Gray earlier in the game. Jeff Hoffman's been dealing with that front side flying open. And Darren Holmes at times talking about a disconnect between the upper half and the lower half.
And most of the time when you have that disconnect, it is with the fastball. It's not with the breaking pitch, because you know you have to finish out in front. You have to stay directionally towards the mound with the slider. We saw that tonight with John. The fastball was spraying because the front side was flying open, but the slider was good. And I think that's the case too with Jeff, and we saw it down in Arizona. We saw some really good curveballs when he was down in Arizona at Chase Field.
Yeah, there's no question there are enough weapons for Jeff Hoffman. It's
I akin this to what John Gray went through last year.
I was going to say the same thing. I can't agree more that he's going to learn an awful lot this year, and if he takes the same approach into next spring training that John did, because with the people we mentioned, John Gray and Chad Bettis and Tyler Chapwood and Tyler Anderson, that battle for that number 5 spot in the rotation, if it's just the guys internal,
right.
I mean, Marquez, Hoffman, maybe Freeland.
Senzatella.
Yeah, down to, might not be at the beginning, but Senzatella will be knocking on the door. Castellani, another. I want to see more of Yenzi Almonte, and a little later on Wander Cabrera.
And that's why the future's bright.
And Jeff talked about it before, and he's so accurate. The competitive nature within the group of young starters right now is how you build a pitching staff. You have to have the talent, obviously, but Chad Bettis said to me once, he goes, guy goes out there and makes a good start, and you go, boy, it's on me. I don't want to stop the train. We try and outdo each other, and all those years with the Braves and those guys, anything you can do, I can do better.
And that's what you need. You need guys pushing each other.
Payoff to Grandal. They send Gonzalez. Now they've got him tied up between first and second. Now they'll throw to third, and Turner is out at third. He pointed to the dugout to see about checking on it. Good throw by Stephen Cardullo if they got Turner. It was right on the bag. It's just a question, did Turner beat the tag?
What a play all the way around. Adrian Gonzalez first stops halfway going down, and then Nolan, oh yeah, he got him before the right hand got to the bag. We're still waiting around.
It was hard to see the left hand, but certainly the tag was there before the right hand got on the bag. And they aren't going to challenge it, or they are? They are not.
They're not going to.
So a good defensive play by the Rockies takes care of the Dodgers' threat. Left hand.
Ninth inning, it'll be Stephen Cardullo to lead things off, then Cristhian Adames. Brandon Morrow is on the bump now for San Diego. Something about the Padres this year. The Rockies are about to lose their 8th game to the Padres in 13 matchups. And for the 3rd time this year, they've given up double figures to a San Diego offense that was hitting .235 coming into the ball game.
9 games for Brandon Morrow. The 32-year-old just had his contract selected from El Paso back in the middle of August. Scoreless 6 out of the last 9 times he's gone out to the hill.
Cardullo tonight is 0 for 3, a strikeout. He hit into a 6-4-3 double play and also a fly ball to right field.
Derek Norris, and takes that one off the right shoulder. So tonight he's been hit by a pitch, hit a home run, and then took the foul tip off his other shoulder.
Those nights from the Rockies' perspective, it can't end fast enough, and then unfortunately you have the injury to Norris. I mean, listen, it's an important at bat for Cardullo. Every at bat, for especially for a young player, you're not going to give it away. But it's been a dark night at the office for Colorado, down 14-0. Their worst shutout ever was in 1995. They lost 17-0. To the then Florida Marlins. And here to center field. Cristhian Adames with one out. Cristhian 0 for 3 tonight. I think safely we can tell you about tomorrow's starting pitchers. Rockies with the 6-man rotation will send Tyler Chatwood to the hill against Luis Perdomo. John Gray is going to go Saturday for the Rockies against the former Rocky Christian Friedrich. And then Chad Bettis on Sunday against the seasoned veteran. Speaking of guys who've played for a number of teams, Edwin Jackson on Sunday, scheduled for San Diego.
Edwin's thrown a few nice ball games for San Diego this year.
There's Edwin. One and one.
Edwin Jackson 4-4 on the season.
Edwin's 32. You think he's 42 as long as he's been around. Originally drafted by the Dodgers in 2001. Two on. This ball's really well hit to right. See how well. It's going to get on out. And the shutout is gone as Cristhian Adames hits his second home run of the year.
Both of them, you're thinking it's not in ballparks that you would expect it as much. PNC Park earlier this year. And now late in the night here at Petco to salvage that shutout, get the donut off the board. He did lean back on that at the uppercut.
Got all of it.
Yes, he did.
You know, had the Rockies not scored here in the ninth, it would have been the biggest shutout in Padres history. Their previous largest was 13-0 in 1991. They shut out the Reds. This is well hit, but it is caught out there by Arcia at 2 outs. So I had to look it up, Huey. We were talking about Edwin Jackson, how well traveled he is. The Padres are his 10th major league team. That's especially a high number for a guy who's a starting pitcher primarily.
271 starts.
Got a no-hitter.
Was that the game he threw 140 something? Get that no-hitter?
Boy.
I'll have Doug look that up real quick. 140, maybe 147.
I think your recollection is accurate that it was a real high number. Raimel Tapia is going to pinch hit. Been playing every day for Charlie Blackmon while that lower back mended, and doing a great job. 149. You have a great memory.
It's too short. I said 147, 149.
Raimel last night was 0 for 3 and a walk. He had 8 walks in that no-hitter. That's not dissimilar from Ubaldo's no-hitter when he had 6 walks. Ubaldo got so frustrated throwing out of the windup that he bagged it after the 6th inning and went from the stretch the rest of the way. It didn't matter. Atlanta wasn't getting a hit against him.
No, not at all.
2 strikes on Tapia. And that's in the air to left, and making the catch to end the ball game is Alex Dickerson. Mercifully, this one's over. A home run by Adames, and the Rockies avert the shutout. And that's about the only thing we could say on a positive note.
Brunch, $30.
Hey, that's okay, Wendy. That was a good carry. You're still the man. You're the man.
Latte, $4.
Shake it off, Johnny. Rub some dirt on it.
New piano, $3,000.
All right, guys. They're not saying boo. They're saying movers.
Supporting your team, priceless.
It's all right, Bobby. You still got the best arm in the neighborhood.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
This is decaf, right?
Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Inside Miller Park on a pretty Tuesday night, the Rockies trying to level this series at 1 apiece. They're up 3-2 on the Nolan Arenado 3-run home run earlier. And John Gray, after kind of a sluggish start, particularly in the 2nd inning, is on some kind of roll. He has struck out a club record 5 in a row. It's happened 12 times in Rockies history. And the last guy to do it was John Gray. Earlier this year, he struck out 5 in a row.
Well, go ahead and break your own record then.
0-1 on Martin Maldonado, who doubled in a run off the center field wall. Was in that 2-run 2nd inning. Brewers 2 runs, 3 hits. Rockies 3 runs, 6 hits.
The old Ghostbuster line.
Scared of no ghost. Well, he's got him set up ahead of Maldonado, 1-2.
Maldonado hit a fastball away from him for that double in the 2nd.
Maldonado also strikes out about 30% of the time. Prime candidate, 1-2. 2-2. I go back out there with the slider, just make it a little more inviting.
Yeah, just start it closer to the plate and take it off.
See if you get 3 fingers here. There it is.
Shook to it.
Yeah, shook off the fastball. And that was too good a pitch. Long throw by Adames. What a beautiful play by Cristhian. Give you an idea what kind of arm strength he has.
Because he didn't do the jump throw over to first. He just caught this, and the way he caught it, it's about the only way you can do it, because you don't have time to then jump up. If the ball's bounding and you catch it maybe at your waist, you can do that. Yeah, you should be excited, John, because that was a heck of a play from Cristhian to range that far and then make the strong throw to first on the money.
Jake Elmore is going to pinch hit here for Chase Anderson. And a strike on Elmore.
Elmore 1 for 14 as a pinch hitter.
Jake has big league time with Arizona, with Houston, with Cincinnati, and with Tampa prior to this year. Those 4 teams, a grand total of 340 at bats. Got an interesting background. He's an Alabama kid, went to Wallace State. I believe Wallace State is the school that produced Craig Kimbrell, junior college, and then he went on to Arizona State, where he played for Pat Murphy. 2 outs. That is 10 straight retired now by John Gray. I mean, ever since the Maldonado double.
He's locked it in, working ahead. Hey fans, 2017 suite packages are now available. You can reserve your opening day suite with the purchase of a suite 10-pack. Call today for more information.
Change up to VR. Fastball just inside, 2-0.
We'll take a peek on the Subaru strike zone. It is just a tick off.
Dahl makes the catch, and that's 11 in a row set down by John Gray. A little more separation. Rockies up 3-2. Descalso in the 6th to lead it off. Win, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. You can do that today. Use the promo code ROXWIN at papajohns.com. The view from the rock pile. Cristhian Adames leading things off. He had a base hit in the 2nd. One of just 2 hits for the Rockies. 7, 8, 9 here in the 5th. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Eddie's spot's due up. A couple hitters down. I see Jorge De La Rosa getting loose now in the Rockies bullpen. But he just got up.
Eddie's kind of settled in nicely, and it'll be interesting to see how Walt handles this. If the first 2 guys don't reach, I would think Butler would hit. Just a guess.
Yeah, just looking at his pitch count, where you are in the ball game.
And Adames throws out another hit. He's got a gapper to right center field. And Cristhian's going to turn up the gas and head towards 3rd. He's in with a triple.
I got you, Madison. 2 for 2 today. First triple this season for Cristhian. The single to left field. This time he stays on the curveball from Madison. Deposited in the right center field gap and then motors all the way with the head first slide on the Subaru Supermo. Dirt flying all over the place. Helmet coming off. And a happy Cristhian at 3rd base with nobody out.
2nd career triple for Cristhian Adames. And now Garneau at the plate. High on Garneau, 1-0.
Garneau has picked up some monumental hits in his career against some big names. He got his first career hit against Max Scherzer. He got his first career home run against James Shields, guy who's pretty good also. Here's the 1-1. On and miss, 1 and 2.
Off the light standard at Fenway Park. What makes him so difficult in these counts, 1-2, is that he has enough fastball to beat you in, but he also has that sweeping slider that he can start off the plate away from you and then just nick the corner.
2-2. Garneau out of Cal State Fullerton. You look at Adames at third. Good story. Dustin was a 19th round pick. Now 3-2.
Looks like they're trying to stay up on the Subaru strike zone to Dustin.
Daniel Descalso has a helmet on the bat. Eddie Butler for the moment in the on-deck circle.
The only right-handed batter you have now is DJ on the bench.
You probably want to save him. It's launched a long way, but foul.
Your two choices after that would be Daniel or Gerardo.
You know, that's the issue when you shorten your bench and add the arm, which you need to do at Coors Field. You know, sometimes you're limited. It's fouled off as well. You're limited with the options you have. We were discussing at Huey the other day, there are more and more teams, especially when you come to Coors Field, that will add an arm in the bullpen. And the Rockies been going that way all year, and it's worked out fine for them.
The Giants coming into the series had an extra arm in their bullpen.
They added Chris Stratton today. We're starting to tell that story. Kane went on the DL. Good at bat from Garneau. And now they're 2 on, nobody out. Butler will be called back. And Descalso will hit. Now Eddie really just a victim of the scoreboard right now. He's pitching fine after that 3-run home run in the first inning. I mean, Eddie's given up only 4 hits. Nick Conley coming over, and I think he did a good job. Of course, he's disappointed, but you got to score some runs. And the Rockies, you're not going to get many opportunities against Bumgarner, and they have one right now.
You have to take your chances when the game dictates you have that opportunity, and right now is one of those chances. You know, it's a left-on-left matchup. All the numbers with Madison 159 against, but a runner on third, runner on first, and nobody out. Got to play for a bigger inning.
And Daniel's been swinging the bat well since coming off the DL.
Five for 10 since coming off with that broken hand.
Lifted to left field. Adames, and the wind's blowing it in. Adames is not going to run. The ball is just too shallow, and Parker has a good arm. So there's 1 out, and that'll bring up Blackman.
He might have tried it if that wind had kept bringing the ball back towards the infield. The flags are blowing in from left center field. Flags in the wind. Don't run yourself out at home.
Charlie, a double in the first and a fly ball to right. On the corner, strike one. Charlie with 18 ribbies at that top spot in the lineup. And keep in mind, he was on the DL.
We said 360 with runners in scoring position.
Blackman lines it to center, and it's caught. Here comes Adames down the line. Throw is not in time, and Garneau dives back into first. And the Rockies have a run. It's 4-1. Sac fly for Blackman.
19 RBIs on the season for Charlie. Another ball right on the screws. For a moment, thought it might have a chance to get down, but just hung up long enough so Gregor Blanco could catch it. Buster Posey came out to cut that ball off, thinking he could throw behind Dustin, but Cristhian too fast.
Story's had 2 good at-bats against Bumgarner. He lined out to center his last time up. Spins a curveball over. Predominantly been fastball curveball today for Madison Bumgarner.
The only other pitch that he throws, and he only throws it 3% of the time, is a changeup. So the fastball, 4-seam, cut the 2-seamer into the hands, and then the curveball.
Trevor's in a ditch, 0-2. Story, the 23-year-old Texan. Garneau with 2 outs at first. So that ends the inning. The Rockies get a leadoff triple from Adames. He would score on the sac fly by Blackman. It's 4-1 now as we go to the 6th.
And now another priceless pep talk from Peyton Manning.
What's up, friend? Heard you got a bad haircut. Don't worry, it'll grow back. And I've got a simple, stylish solution for you. Clean part, high and tight, no sideburns, no mistakes. I've been working this dude since I was like 5. Trust me.
And this has been another priceless pep talk from Peyton Manning. Go to priceless.com for a personalized pep talk you can send to a friend.
Jordan Lyles enters the game, so the Dodgers into the Rockies bullpen. And this is the part of the pitching staff that has struggled, that middle relief. You see it reflected in the numbers for Lyles, an ERA above 5. Middle third of the order, that's ball 1 on Gonzalez.
Walt Weiss going a little bit against the grain compared to what we've seen against the Dodgers in the last 10 days. Most managers going directly to their lefties.
Lyles started the season in the rotation. With all the talent they have coming up through the system, he's been bumped into the bullpen. 25-year-old's 2-0 is in there, 2-1. Like the Dodgers starter tonight and Bud Norris, Jordan Lyles started his season in Houston, or started his career in Houston. Right around the same time Bud Norris was there. Lyles was 20 years old when he debuted with the Astros in 2011. He came to the Rockies in exchange for Dexter Fowler. He's having such a good year now for the Cubs. Crack bat pop up into short center. Long way to go for Blackman, who gets there.
Charlie Blackman showing some good range. A couple innings back up on the scoreboard, they have a little promo called Little League Lessons, and the question was to a whole bunch of little kids, how fast does Charlie Blackmon run? The range was from really fast to 3 miles an hour to 55 miles an hour. It was a really cute segment.
And what did the kids choose? Or those were their answers?
They had multiple answers throughout the whole spectrum of
Awesome.
what you would think if you were someone from about 4 years old to about 9 years old.
Okay. Kids say the darndest things. Rockies version, huh? 1 ball, no strikes on Grandal. Not 2-0.
I mean, really fast. Good answer.
It is.
Yeah. But they actually asked them specifically in miles per hour. So it was funny when one kid said, he's got about 8 speed.
Funny. Grandal's already walked once today. And on 3-0, he takes a strike. Talking about that San Diego series starting up on Friday. Julio Urias will go for the Dodgers. He's been so good lately. Clayton Richard counters for the Padres. Still figuring things out for the rest of the weekend. Padres will have Luis Perdomo on Saturday. TBD for both on Sunday. As Grandal earns the 1-out walk. Julio. Yasmani's aboard. Bringing up Josh Reddick. He's still looking for that first RBI as a Dodger. The final day of the month. Up the middle. Adames gets to it and gets the force. They're playing some awesome defense tonight up the middle.
Another unfortunate at bat for Josh Reddick, because you're thinking, okay, they have the shift, and I'm thinking that you might have poked it through that hole, but what a fine play by Adames. And also, you know, Grandal, not the quickest man on the bases. Maybe another person on the base might have beaten that out or beaten the force play at second base. But they just played some great defense there for Colorado.
Jock Peterson just got under it his last time and flied to deep center.
That same bolt of lightning that Chase Utley gave him in the first at bat of the game with a home run. Jock Peterson, with the way he can hit the ball and as far as he can hit it, would really help the Dodger cause.
1-1.
We said small bites trying to peck into this lead, but right now the bites need to get a little bigger.
The later you get into the game, they have to be bigger.
One and two. Yeah, earlier this year when Lyles started against the Dodgers, Jock hit one of those long home runs against him. On April 24th, before Lyles moved into the bullpen, the right fielder Gonzalez hardly even moved. One of Jock's 18 home runs this season. And the shortstop on the right side of the infield with this 1-2 pitch. And Peterson takes just inside. Lyles had it fading back over the inside edge. Wanted it, won't get it. 2-2.
Phil Cuzzy takes a look at this one and says it's a ball. And so does strike zone.
Full count now, so Reddick will get a head start. Ball in the gap could make it a 6-3 game.
They got some big gaps here.
It's the largest field by square footage in the majors. There he goes, and a 3-2 is race to the backstop. I'm not sure exactly what the call is. They're going to say just ball 4.
A little half swing by Jock, but there wasn't a foul ball. It was just deflected off the glove. It made it look visually from the center field camera like there was a foul ball.
I think there may have been some urgency there from the Dodger dugout, and don't give him a chance to say that you went around when you could have been down at first. And it was fairly close. So the second walk of the inning. And they're at first and second with 2 out for Andrew Toles, who's got an RBI double and a walk tonight. Hitting .382 as a big leaguer. Ball 1. Right now you feel as good about Toles when he's up there as anybody. If Toles can reach, Kendrick, it appears, would pinch hit. Late swing and a bouncing ball up the middle, and Adames feeds LeMahieu to finish the inning. Couple of base runners, but nothing to show for it to the bottom half. 6-2 Colorado.
With George Frazier and Mike McHenry joining us upstairs. I'm Drew Goodman. Gorgeous Thursday afternoon. There's Rafael Inoa. He had that throw, and it's not easy because in the infield, you know, it's a short backswing. You got a longer arm swing from the outfield, and when you're in that situation where you're usually in infield, and all of a sudden now you got to make that throw from the outfield, it's a different deal, Mike.
Absolutely. And if you come out and watch batting practice, you see him kind of moving around. He's taking ground balls at 3 different positions, then he'll run out to the outfield and make those throws. And it's a wonder that his arm doesn't fall off, but you know, he continues to work at it, and he's accurate, and you know, like you just saw, it's been working out great.
Michael, it's the 5 Ps. The 5 Ps.
Let's hear the 5 Ps.
Prior preparation prevents poor performance. 9th grade, Hillcrest High School, I don't want to tell you when, but it was a long time ago.
I thought you were going to drop the dodgeball comment on me.
No, not at all.
Dodged up.
No, the 5 Ps. He prepares for his services every day.
That's great.
So here's Corey Dickerson. Corey singled up the middle in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Barreled the ball every AB last night. And he fouls that back. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Highest average through the first 256 career games all time. JP one Pierre hit 318. That guy Helton hit 304. Spilly on the list, and then Corey Dickerson in front of Matt Holliday.
It's a special group of guys right there.
Special group. Matt played left field for the first time last night for the Cardinals. What from afar? The Cardinals, and Matt Carpenter's had a great year. He hit his 22 last night, 25 and 26. They pitch. I know they pitch. And that's the bottom line of this sport. Doesn't change. What else makes it special about what makes them special? Because, you know, Holliday's been out. Adams been out the whole year. Wainwright. It's going to be a tough play. Boy, really athletic. And then Alvarez. And,
wow.
You know, Pedro Alvarez is... I know I'm beating him up, but he struggles at first base.
Yeah, he's changing positions. We've all seen Rosie over there. He's changed positions. It takes time. It's not easy. You know, you're talking about a guy that's used to filling a ground ball, throwing it across the diamond. Now he's getting throws thrown at him with runners coming at him. Dickey's helmet falls off, but he's got to make that play, and I think he will. I think he's going to get better and better. But fortunately for us, he didn't make the play. Dickey's on base. We got 1 out. Top of the order up.
And the other side of that is, the other side of it, you got a pitcher 10 feet from you. Is he going to throw me a bullet? Is he going to soft toss me? Going to throw me a cutter, sinker? What's he going to give me?
Exactly. That's where he's got to spend time getting to know these guys, just like a catcher would.
And it is scored a base hit for Dickerson in second. Get back to the Cardinals. As a player, looking at them from afar, how are they getting it done?
Professionalism. They show up every single day, and they're fundamentally sound. They work on their craft. They figure out how can I be better, not just for me, but for my team. And then they have unbelievable leaders. You know, you look at the catcher, obviously, who leads that whole team and leads that staff in Molina. And I guarantee you right now, he's helping out Tony Cruz and whoever else is catching over there day in, day out. And then you've got Wainwright, been on the DL almost all year. He's pushing those guys. And you got Matt Holliday for the position players.
Dickerson
going.
And this is a gapper off the bat of Adames, and this is going to get Corey home easily. Cristhian to second. He's hunting a triple. And he's got himself a 3-bagger, and the Rockies lead it 3-2.
That guy can really play. I don't think he's talked about enough. I said it the other day. The guy can really, really play. And he hit in that triple corner that I call it, Coors Field. Every time it goes there, you get a triple. Sometimes I don't because I'm not that fast, but a lot of guys do.
I call it the
I got some this year. Yeah, I know.
You and more know.
I call it the Ponderosa.
Yeah.
Hits it out into left center field. You're too young. That was Bonanza. Hits it out into left center field. The chase is on by McCutcheon and Starling Marte to get to this baseball. And then you can just allow yourself to get into third base. The head first slide ahead of the throw. Talking about the Cardinals, and I see a little bit of this with Pittsburgh. Before they ever take batting practice, they're taking ground balls. Nobody's on the field. Outfielders are taking outfield balls. And if you watch St. Louis, and I go to the park early, I'm there at 2 o'clock for the 7 o'clock game. All the infielders are taking ground balls every day. The outfielders are throwing every day. Every other day, the catchers are throwing down to second. And it's just ingrained in their mind from the time they're in high A all the way to the big leagues. This is what we do.
Absolutely. If you look back and you go all the way back to rookie ball, you work, you play. And somewhere in the middle in AA and AAA, teams start to disperse with that a little bit. You're not working as much. You're not working on your craft, the fundamentals. Somebody that I look up to, and I've read 3 or 4 of his books, is John Wooden. And if you read anything about that guy, every single day they worked on their fundamental, they worked on their craft. Doesn't mean you have to do the same thing every single day, but yeah, those guys, Pittsburgh, when I was there, every homestand, we threw the bases as catchers. All the guys took it. Sometimes we took infield, outfield. We mixed it up, but we continued to work the fundamentals in our craft on a day-in, day-out basis every series we were at home.
Pyramid of success.
Absolutely.
The 4 teams that come to mind that do that all the time, the New York Yankees, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the San Francisco Giants.
I'm going to add one in there, the Texas Rangers.
And the Rangers now
Jeff
doing
Bannister,
it with Jeff Bannister.
Absolutely. He's got them doing the same thing.
What are all 5 of those teams doing?
They're
battling for the playoffs.
Yep, all right there in the playoff push.
Jeff Bannister came from Pittsburgh. Here's Willeen. He gets pushed back off the plate. The intentional pass to Arenado. First and third, 1 out. The Rockies with a 3-2 lead. And Cristhian Adames, chance to give him a 4-2 lead standing at third base. Jared Hughes has gotten up in the Pirates' pen. All right, take us through this, AB. Obviously, you want to lift the baseball here, so looking for something up.
Well, all day today, Jeff Locke has been pounding our righties in, even Nolan Arenado. So right now, Willeen's he's done a good job so far of, not going outside of himself. Make that ball creep back over the plate. That way, you're not vulnerable to that changeup. He's going in again right here.
And that is a foul ball.
Because of that right there. As soon as he sees you go quick, he's going to throw that off-speed pitch down and away, and you're going to balk at it. You're going to start to move forward before you need to, and your hands aren't going to stay back. Like Adames just did to hit that ball in that gap. He rode out that changeup, his hands stayed back, and he drove it in that gap. Right here with Willeen, he's so strong, you could take away his whole body. He's just got to use his hands and flick it somewhere. There's a chance that he hits it over the fence because he's that strong. That's why he's the baby bull.
It was somewhat comical because home plate umpire Ron Colco didn't know fair or foul, and Harrison fired it to home, and he had to duck so Stewart could catch it. And I was like, you're kind of in the wrong spot, bud.
It's like that guy that was that football referee that just got obliterated. It's terrible.
Yeah, asking for the pick at first. See, when they used to flick the thumb when I played, that meant flip them. You guys want to throw over to first now.
Yeah. See, that's the old school mentality.
Yeah.
Same thing. Guy takes a huge swing, his helmet falls off. Sometimes I can't believe our guy doesn't just knock him down because the old school mentality. That's the way I was brought up, and that's your box. You got to let him know it's your box.
And Willeen
That was a
Fans
changeup.
on an off-speed pitch.
Just like I told you, this guy's going to throttle you back and forth all day long. See, if you watch this, I bet you Wileen's hip falls out. Yep, it's coming out early because he's been pounding him in. He throws that changeup to speed him up right there.
Well, it's just called pitching.
Absolutely. In, out, up, down, back and forth. You know, Renee Latchman's brother told me that one time. That's pitching. If you have one of them, you can be okay and compete, which that means every day. If you have two of them, you can have a great day. And then when you have all three, that's when special things happen.
You ever heard Latch with laryngitis?
I don't think it's possible.
Strike one on LeMahieu.
He stops by Jiffy Lube and gets oiled up every day.
Right?
That's great. Yeah, I think the reason they invented the microphone is because of Latch.
Latch
It's the only way you can get over him. Yeah, it's the only way you can get over him.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Inside, Latch came up with Babe Ruth.
Sure did.
Or thereabouts.
Yeah, probably roommates with Ty Cobb.
Cotton Satchel Paige, I know that.
That's crazy, isn't it?
BJ 328 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year. He has had an extraordinary season.
Again.
You know,
Again, exactly.
Again.
Exactly.
There's a phrase I use a lot with George and Jeff and Spilly. I think it's so important in sports, really important in this sport. DJ's got it. This is going to end the inning. He plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Every single day.
Yep.
Every single day he does. And I'll tell you what, this guy works his craft as much as anybody on our team. And
been rewarded.
He has.
Got another half inning in the third.
Absolutely.
Sure he does.
I love you guys. I'm staying.
Say it with me. Say it with me. Here we go. Let's go, insurers and adjusters. Let's go.
Grill,
Let's go, insurers and adjusters. Let's
$80.
go. Cut that meat.
Sandwich,
Cut that meat.
$6.
Cut that meat.
Gas,
And it's full.
$20.
You're my favorite accountant. Tommy, please. Johnny, please. You're on my fantasy team. You're my favorite worker.
Fans,
Yes. Woo!
priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Never gonna wash his hand. Right here. Look at that.
First major league hit in his major league debut. Cristhian Adames moving him over, and bada bing, bada boom, the Rockies would score a run. Well, of course, it's Fan Friday, so we're taking some pictures. This one from the Colorado Rockies. It's Tapia and Adames right before the game. Buddies, love this. They both grew up in the Dominican Republic and have made baseball a career, a special day indeed for both of them. And I know Adames, Estevez, they were all in there to welcome in Tapia. Estevez was even translating for Tapia before the game with some of the reporters. So it's just a fun fraternity for those guys, and really great to see Tapia up at the big league level. Well, thanks for joining us on a Fan Friday. Until next week, guys, we'll send it back to you. Keep the tweets coming.
All right, Jenny, thanks very much. We talked to Raimel a little bit before the ball game, and he was like this in spring training. He's got a real upbeat, bubbly personality, and he called, as you see, Parra's in at first base. He had called mom and dad naturally back home in the Dominican. Said they were really excited, and now the whole neighborhood's excited because Raimel Tapia has a base hit and a run scored. Jake Lamb at the plate against Jordan Lyles. Swung on and missed.
I think when we see Gerardo Parra at first base late in the game, it's showing that Walt Weiss is starting to get some confidence with Gerardo's defensive skills at first base.
Good pitch by Lyles, strikes out Lamb. Well, did you see, and this is not unusual, did you see Parra after he took his ground balls at first this afternoon? See where he went?
Shortstop?
Shortstop. That you will not see.
Left-handed shortstop?
You won't see it.
Is that a left-handed catcher?
Possibly. There have been a few. Been a while. Dougie runs this out every year. He just rolled his eyes at you. The last one was Benny DiStefano back in 1989. Drury takes a strike.
No left-handed shortstop, though, right?
And Dougie will come up with one from the Federal League, or the American Association back in the day. And the guy will have a funny nickname. 2 outs. Speaking of great nicknames, find the latest Albuquerque Isotopes jerseys, t-shirts, novelties, and much more at abqisotopes.com. Albuquerque Isotopes, proud AAA affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. That's where Ramel just came from, along with Tommy Murphy. Rockies are going to add to the September mix as soon as the Topes are done. G. Hill did a really nice job getting that club going in the second half. At one point, they'd lost 13 in a row, and they turned it around and won 9 straight.
I know I talked to Brandon Barnes, and they started Club Albuquerque, Club ABQ, and I know you can watch highlights of it on the club. And basically, the guys brought a smoke machine and a disco ball, and they turned the locker room into a club after they got a win. And it's something very similar that a lot of other teams do. The Houston Astros do it. Carlos Correa does it. And the Chicago Cubs have been doing it the entire season.
They have their own party room in their new digs underneath Wrigley Field. Ball and 2 strikes on Chris Owings. Rocky 7, D-back 7, top of 7. Back up the middle and a base hit. Adames now's got a turning fire to DJ. Did he get him? Out at second base. Owings took a gamble with 2 outs when that ball was just trickling into center field into no man's land. And a great job by Adames to sense that he had to get there in a hurry. And a good tag by LeMahieu. We're going to take a look at this on Arizona's side to see if the tag was applied.
Bottom of the 8th inning, J.P. Howell on in relief for the Los Angeles Dodgers. In the top of the 8th inning, Dodgers hoping that the heart of the order in Corey Seager, Justin Turner, and Adrian Gonzalez could get things going for them as far as offense was concerned. But I can tell you that you could absolutely pen those 3 guys in for game 2 of this doubleheader. Dave Roberts earlier today saying those 3 absolutely will play in both games, so you can factor them into that second game. He said the other positions and as far as the order of the lineup might be shuffled around. And again, Luis Avilan, the unofficial 26th man.
All right, Alana, David Dahl looking at ball 1 from J.P. Howell. And of course, the big question about game 2 is, will Rich Hill make the start as planned? It came up during Dave Roberts' media session today that it is no longer a sure thing, with the unique circumstances of Rich having warmed up for last night's game, which was eventually postponed because of the rain, turning today into the doubleheader. Normally not a huge deal, but when you're coming off dealing with blisters for more than a month, it's a little bit different scenario. Howell to Dahl with a 1-1. Yeah, there's ball 2.
No report on an actual blister that developed yesterday, but some concern of a hot spot. He actually was out here playing catch with one of the trainers before game 1 here to kind of prove that he was going to be okay, because he emphatically wants to pitch. It's coaching staff and the trainers that are worried about losing him for a while instead of maybe giving him a couple extra days.
David Dahl starts the 8th inning with his second hit of the day.
Sometimes you have to protect the players from themselves, and the best decision comes from some people around you that know you best and have known the situation. I know that's the way it was with me. I don't know the way it was with you, Nomar, but sometimes you need people to calm you down.
Most definitely.
Give you a little longer term viewpoint, because with players it's a daily grind and a daily passion.
You're going to go out there and you're going to play through stuff and on a daily basis, and sometimes they need to help you make sure it doesn't get worse.
Yeah, to make the prudent decision.
So Mark Reynolds with his first debut since the surgery, which was 2 weeks ago. care how major or minor the surgery is. It's on his hand, and he's back in there swinging a bat in the majors 2 weeks later.
You wouldn't even think that he'd be back to drills yet. You think about what they had to put him through to test it so that he could prove that, yeah, it's okay.
And himself, and you'd also feel like you have confidence in that you're not going to alter your swing because of it.
He's definitely at a point in the healing that he doesn't want to get jammed.
Reynolds is in his 10th major league season. The Rockies are his 7th different team over those 10 years.
And the interesting thing too, when you have injuries such as that to your hands, it's also you're going, I don't also want to swing and miss. It's usually the swing and misses when they really hurt and aggravate it.
Runner takes off on a pitch in the dirt. Up to second goes Dahl. That's not a good thing in Mark Reynolds' case. He swings and misses as much as any player in baseball history.
I know.
Well, when you're coming back as a hitter to test it,
you don't
in
practice.
BP, you don't really hit him off the end of the bat. You don't get jammed. You don't swing and miss, and you don't check swing. And those are usually when hitters get hurt.
Exactly. It's rarely something that you practice.
Reynolds has more than 1,600 strikeouts in his 10 seasons. There's another. Ruiz has to find it, does, and throws him out.
A little reminiscent of the Roy Halladay play. The no-hitter in the playoffs. That wasn't a strikeout, wasn't it? It was a chopper out front.
Yeah, right in front of the plate.
Where the bat was there.
The NLDS against the Reds, 2010.
Good job finding this ball, but the best job was right here when he spins. Got to pick up Adrian Gonzalez just out of the corner of his eye. When he's reaching down to pick up that ball, in his mind's eye, he's got Adrian on his mind the whole way, thinking about the angle he's going to let this ball go.
And you're right, that looked a lot like it. Like the play in the Halladay no-hitter to finish that NLDS game. Here's Adames. You know, Ruiz is one of 2 guys in Major League history that has caught 4 no-hitters. He had 2 from Roy Halladay in that 2010 season, including a perfect game. Combined no-hitter in 2014, and then Cole Hamels no-hitter last year. You guys know the other guy that's caught 4?
Thinking of Veritek.
You got it. We were just talking about him earlier today.
Capitan.
Adames has his first 3-hit game of the season. And it makes it 5-0 Rockies. He caps his 3-hit game with an RBI triple.
Looked where Ruiz had the glove. He was looking for that ball down in the dirt, and that also says something from Ruiz, the confidence that he can look for one in the dirt to block it with a man standing at third base, but he didn't get it down there far enough, and Adames does a good job staying inside and driving it down the right field line.
Infield is in as Walters comes up. Walters grounds it foul. Second game of the doubleheader starting 6:10 here in Denver, 5:10 Los Angeles time. Rich Hill and Pencil for the Dodgers. Jeff Hoffman and Sharpie for the Rockies. He'll definitely make his 3rd major league start. Dave Roberts told the assembled media today that Rich Hill was in pencil. Somebody asked, what have you actually been able to write in pen this year? And his response was, the date.
Done a masterful job, Dave Roberts and the coaching staff, the front office, with all the hurdles that they have had to jump over this year. 27 different players on the disabled list. The most DL days of any team in the big leagues by far, by almost 250 days, I think, last time I checked.
Yeah, the 27 total players on the DL is tied for the most in the last 3 decades in baseball. The team that they tied, the 2012 Boston Red Sox, lost 93 games. That's more what you'd expect of a team that has 27 players on the DL.
Contingent plan after contingent plan.
Ryan Rayburn with a man at 3rd and 2 gone. Taking ball 1. The 2012 Red Sox season, their worst in the last half century, those 93 losses. And of course, rebounded to win the World Series the next year. Rayburn shoots one to right, sending Seguin back over his outstretched glove. Rayburn with a pinch hit RBI double. And the first multi-run inning of the game makes it 6-0.
Coors Field starting to act like Coors Field for the Rockies, not for the Dodgers. We've seen a few balls carry over Seguin's head out there in right field as these balls continue to just stay in the air. Sometimes a tough read, not only for a normal big league outfielder, but somebody who's just getting used to playing in the big leagues, and especially Coors Field for Rob Seguin.
Last 5 games between the teams in this ballpark now, the Rockies outscoring the Dodgers 35-10. Charlie Blackmon has his first hit of the day. They send Rayburn. Kendrick's throw be cut off by Turner. RBI single for Blackmon, 7-0.
One eye on this game, but 7-0 makes you put another eye on the scoreboard, and San Francisco is up 2-1 in the 6th on Arizona. Diamondbacks got a run in the top of the 6th. The Giants have 1st and 2nd, 2 out in the bottom of the 6th. You are pulling for Arizona to surpass those Giants because this game looks like it's out of hand.
It's funny that you said that. As the score goes 7-0, you turn your attention to the scoreboard. As you're saying that, I was pulling up the Giants game on my app to look at the same thing.
A lot of times right about now you have to fight the feelings of we'll get them tomorrow, because you got to fight for JP Howell, who's on the mound. You got 3 outs left. Maybe you can have a miracle comeback. It's going to be a very short turnaround to game 2. So it's not get them tomorrow, it's get them in a couple hours.
1-1 on LeMahieu. Had a 5-run comeback in late April here, but offense struggling to find any kind of traction in this series. Seguin a long way to go to get to that LeMahieu fly ball. Rockies get 3 here in the 8th and make it a huge uphill climb in the 9th inning.
And now another priceless pep talk from Peyton Manning.
How's it going? Social life in the dumps? I hear you. Maybe what you need is just a few new dance moves. Hey, Derek, show them what you got. Mm-hmm. I like it. Work it. All right, stop. Stop. That's enough. Seriously, you're going to hurt yourself.
And this has been another Priceless Pep Talk from Peyton Manning. Go to Priceless.com for a personalized pep talk you can send to a friend.
We embark on the top of the 8th inning with the Rockies in front in game 162, 3-2. Carlos Estevez will be asked to get Chris Carter, Domingo Santana, and Hernan Perez. Carter today is 0 for 3. Checked his swing, called the ball. Two and 0. I also want to give a shout out. So much has been written about all year, and especially the last week or so, and deservedly so, all the tributes to the great Vin Scully. He went that time 2-1. There are 2 other longtime broadcasters who are retiring. Dick Enberg, who has had a marvelous career nationally, originally a television voice of the Angels, and last, I think, 7 years back with the Padres. And Dick has decided to retire at the end of the year as well. He's a Hall of Fame broadcaster in so many sports. And our best to the legendary Dick Enberg. This is lobbed out in a right field. It'll be a base hit. And also Bill Brown. Brownie, 30 years. Television play-by-play voice of the Astros, and a good guy. Bill's decided to move into retirement after this year, and we wish both of those gentlemen all the best.
I second that.
Uke's coming back, though.
Yeah,
He's next door.
Uker.
And Uke had a special tribute. There's Uke. Uke had a special tribute in his inimitable way to his longtime friend Vin.
Man, I can't believe I'm getting a chance to do this. But anyway, let me say that I guess number one, Fast and Furious. What a movie. That was unbelievable. To watch you and watch the action in that, what? It's Vin Diesel, right? Vin Scully? Oh, gosh. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'll start over.
Well, our timing wasn't good there. Santana hits a 2-run home run, but always entertaining. Bob Uecker.
I thought it was perfect timing, comedic timing.
Yeah.
Let Uecker tell the story while the home run's walking around.
Yeah, I'm glad. Maybe that obscured the bad news on the field.
It
2-run
did.
home run from Domingo Santana. Is that classic Uke, though?
He told me this story. I had the chance to sit with him because I was so excited to meet the guy. And when I first met Mr. Uecker, he's like, you better call me Bob or I'm going to kick you out of here. And today he told me to hurry up and take the pictures before the Mets kicked in. He really is. He's a genuine human. When he was telling me stories of his stand-up comedy back in the day, about there's a Uecker jersey.
Yeah, but those seats are too good for the Uecker.
Yeah, you need to be sitting all the way
at the top, right?
above the purple row. He was telling me part of his gig and his shtick when he would go on Johnny Carson was that he made sure he never laughed, never. And Johnny told him one time, and even Vince said the same thing. The hardest interview Vince Scully ever had was with Bob Uecker because Bob would never answer anything straight. And Bob would never crack a smile, never laugh, and Vin would just lose it. And same with Johnny Carson.
He has some of the best lines ever uttered in the history of not only baseball broadcasting, but just conversations about baseball and about his own career. You look up self-deprecating in the book, and there's a picture of Uke
He used one
with
the
a
other
bat
day
in his hands.
in the broadcast, talking about how he would, you know, just wait until it stopped rolling and then he went and picked it up.
Best way to catch a knuckleball. Yeah.
Famous line, just a bit outside. I mean, everybody uses that one.
And Frazier always used to point this out, and it's absolutely the truth. We all think of Uke as this comedian, and he was a funny actor, Mr. Belvedere. Bob is a tremendous broadcaster, baseball broadcaster, great baseball broadcaster. And it's not all yucks if you know if you're listening to the Milwaukee Brewers back in Wisconsin and that part of the country.
Yeah, I had the pleasure when I played for the Brewers in '97 after being traded from the Rockies over there was to spend almost a full year with Uke.
It's been a rough inning for Carlos Estevez. Single, home run, and now Perez walks. At the plate is Orlando Arcia. The Rockies were up 3-2. Now they trail 4-3. And a little larger disappointment when you reflect back on the bottom of the 7th inning. The Rockies had 2 base hits to begin the inning. The right guys at the plate, but they do not score. Didn't add on. Up the middle. This should, well, it's going to hit the bag. What a play. That's a great play by Adames with his bare hand. You can see that coming from our vantage point. That it could have been a double play, but the ball hits the bag, and Cristhian, reaching almost behind him, grabbed it with his bare hand to get an out.
Because it goes over the bag and then it goes over Pat's shoulder. And then he bare hands it, and in one motion throws the first. Now, that's always a tough play for an infielder as you're getting ready to go to this ball, because you can't get in front of the bag. You just hope it doesn't hit the bag, and that's exactly what it did. And then just to be able to change the grip to make the strong throw over to first is hard too. So Cristhian, well done.
Andrew Susac at the plate. While Andrew gets ready for the next pitch, it's 0-1. We're going to take a look at some of the candidates for Manager of the Year in the National League. Two-strike count. Huey, you like to say this. Terry Collins has been fired 6 times this year by the New York media and the fans, yet they had the best record over the last 49 games in baseball, 27-12. Dusty Baker, that was not a healthy environment until Dusty arrived.
A little toxic.
Yeah. Dave Roberts, man, he takes over a club that had some issues, a lot of talent. They win 91 games. And Susac's gone. Joe Maddon's got to be a candidate. I mean, I know the Cubs are talented, but they've won 102 games. Bruce Bochy's a perennial candidate. Huey, who would you vote for?
Well, as much as my heart is saying vote for Terry Collins, I think looking at it, it has to go for me to Dave Roberts as a first-year guy going to L.A. And I know they won 3 straight division titles, but Dave Roberts, you had the Puig incident, you had Clayton Kershaw getting injured, missing 2+ months, not really a starting rotation after him. So to me, Dave Roberts gets my vote. But Terry Collins, I'll give you a second-place vote.
I think this one's going to be hotly contested because Dusty Baker came into a pretty toxic environment and made sure this team played well. He's as good of a player-manager as there is in baseball. And I think with the Cubs, you look at Joe Maddon, 102 wins, they haven't done that. To me, I agree with you, Huey. I think when you look at the body of work for Dave Roberts and the fact that the Dodgers lead all of baseball with guys on the disabled list, I think you have to give it to Dave Roberts and that Dodgers coaching staff in his first year.
You know what? There's so many good candidates up there. I'm going to go with
with Dusty, because let's not forget, Strasburg got hurt. Bryce Harper hit about 100 points lower this year. I just looked. He's at 244.
They lost Jordan Zimmerman last year.
They lost Jordan Zimmerman, one of the staples of their rotation. They lost their closer midseason for ineffectiveness. And, you know, they're in the mid-90s. They captured division title with the returning National League champs in their division loaded up on the mound. We obviously didn't know how many injuries there were going to happen with the Mets, but I'll tell you, Dusty Baker came in and did, as he's always done. Dusty's collected Manager of the Year trophies at previous stops. Outside, ball 4, so Elmore walks. They're 2 on, 2 outs. Turned into a lengthy inning for Carlos Estevez. And I know many of you, it's been in the papers, it's been discussed quite a bit on the internet, especially the last week or two. You know, Walt is coming out right now. His fate will be determined in meetings over the next several days. I'm sure he'll be participating, obviously, in some of those. And I want to tell you, in 4 years, I think Walt has done a terrific job in changing the culture, because when he took over in 2000, after 2012, the worst season in Rockies history, the clubhouse had some issues. It was not a team that you would call talent laden, and now they're on the cusp of really doing some special things. We'll have a little bit more on Walt when we come back, but Walt has done a fine job. Familia, one of the top closers in the game. He had saved 52 in a row till last night against the Cardinals. Yachty got him with a double straight away. That would tie up the game. And then Colton Wong with a double the opposite way, and that gave St. Louis the lead. They would hang on and prevail 5-4. First blown save again in the last 52 opportunities for Jeurys Familia. It was the 3rd longest streak in baseball history. Number 1 was Gagne with 84 in the early part of the 21st century. Familia has been busy, said it earlier. He's pitched 2 straight and 3 of the last 4. And he's coming off last night, so we'll see if the Rockies can get after him. Trevor Story, David Dahl, Daniel Descalso. The Rockies have had 1 runner in scoring position. It was Story in the 4th with 2 outs, back-to-back singles by Trevor and his buddy David Dahl. 1-0 New York. And the breaking ball misses ball 1.
Familia walked the first batter he faced last night, and that walk came around to bite him. He's been playing with fire most of the season. Had a save where he had the bases loaded in Chicago, walked the bases loaded, and found a way out of it.
2-0. We were watching that game, and he got a 5-4-3 started by Jose Reyes to survive that near blown save. And now it's 2-0 on Story. You got guys with good speed. Story and Dahl, first 2 in the order. 3-0. Now it's an automatic take.
Familia,
the crowd, you know, it doesn't take long for New York fans to get restless. They either watched or read about last night. They're already rattling in their chairs here at Citi Field. Great crowd, 38,292.
Familia's fastball runs anywhere from 95 to 99 miles an hour and has a lot of sinking action, a lot of depth. Part of the reason why he walks so many is because there's so much movement on his pitches.
3-1 on Story.
Try to look for a fastball up in the zone and hit it.
Up the middle, base hit, Trevor Story. Good beginning.
You definitely sense it from the crowd here at Citi Field. It's a feeling. There's an, oh, here we go again. For Familia, it has to be the same sinking feeling in his stomach. Based on last night, quick turnaround to today. See the movement on that fastball running back towards the middle of the plate. Trevor got the pitch up, and he fires it right back up the middle.
Well, Spilly, in 3 of his last 4 outings, he has given up hits. In 2 of his last 4, he's given up runs. A lot of folks would get real used to David Dahl hitting behind Trevor Story. Now, do you lay down a bunt? You don't typically play for the tie on the road, but you can put pressure with David Dahl's speed. He's swinging, and he swings late and slices it into the crowd.
Familia is a high leg kick pitcher. Typically closers with big fastballs will not worry about base runners as much. As we've seen over the course of the season, that kid standing at first base, Trevor Story, is probably one of the better athletes in baseball. If he gets that high leg kick, by all means, go ahead and take it.
53 pitches over the last 3 days coming in for Familia. Story, I thought, had a pretty good read. His secondary that he started was indicative of a guy who got a good jump.
Familia had a little twitch prior to lifting his leg. It was almost looked like a balk from where I was sitting.
Ball and a strike on Dahl. Nobody out. Story at first. He takes off. Swung on and missed. The throw skips into center field, and Story unable to advance, but he has the stolen base.
Trevor Story steals this off Familia. High leg kick, gets a great read. David Dahl, it's not a hit and run, but he's trying to put the ball in play. Rivera, not a lot of time to set the feet and set the throw. Looks like Trevor Story's spike ended up catching Asdrubal Cabrera in the ankle. Now you have to make sure you get the ball in play so you can get Trevor to move towards third base.
Shorten up if he can for David Dahl. Behind 1 and 2. One thing that I noticed, and this may be, David, first week in the big leagues, but there have been a couple of times where the pitcher took a long time where, you get that clock going, you say, you gotta call time and step out. And I thought that was one of them right there. You don't want to be sitting there with the bat in your hand. You can only focus for so long where things start to tighten up. Familia very deliberate.
Hopefully you get a nice dirt ball read as well if they throw a slider in the dirt.
Six-year-old Familia against the 22-year-old David Dahl.
Rockies this year 0-41, trailing after the 8th inning.
But this is one, again, you want to go on a long streak. They've won 6 of 7. They played dynamite baseball the last 2 days in Baltimore. We've talked so much about the fact that they haven't stolen many victories this year. They kept this thing 1-0. Go steal one. Three and 2 on Dahl. Descalso on deck. Keep in mind the Rockies have available Mark Reynolds.
Well, Jerry,
Rayburn was used earlier.
We always look, and maybe just from the years of being a hitter, we look for confidence, and you can see the lack of confidence in Familia. It's the second time he's already talked to Rene Rivera, trying to get on the same page. You see him pounding his chest, saying, "My bad," several times this inning. This is not a guy that feels comfortable on the mound, even after saving 42 consecutive.
3 and 2 on Dahl. Outside, ball 4, go-ahead run. Now goes to first base. And you start looking at the pitch count if you're Collins, because he has used his big closer quite a bit this week. Now Now you got a sacrifice situation coming for Descalso. Another thing you can do, see how the Rockies play it as they move toward the bottom of their order. Tony Walters due after Descalso. Nick Hundley's been swinging the bat well. So has Tony. Boone Logan and Carlos Estevez, two guys that have been busy.
That was Dan Warthen trying to pump up Familia. Give him some words of encouragement. Maybe give him the bunt coverage where they'd like him to go. Familia has had trouble fielding bunts and throwing to the right base. Happened in the World Series. And in the World Series last year, he blew 3 saves against the Kansas City Royals.
Only the second Rocky to second base all day. Both times it's been Trevor Story. And Descalso bunts it foul.
It's not an easy pitcher to get a bunt down on. 96-mile-an-hour sinker. Spraying the ball all over the place. This is a job you have to get done. If the sign is to put the bunt down, have to get that bunt towards third base.
Almost the obligatory inside move in a bunting situation with runners at first and second. Story was wise to that move. 0-1 on Descalso. And he doesn't get this one down. 2 strikes.
Oftentimes, a manager will take that bunt play off 0-2. And many times, a hitter will take it into his own hands and go, you know what? I can do this. If Descalso decides to bunt, I believe it's on his own.
And he gets it down. And it stays fair. And Rivera never made a play on it. Bases loaded, nobody out. The Rockies catch a break. Rivera, instead of taking the sure out, said, I'm going to wait, see if I get a strikeout here. And the ball just died. Bases loaded, nobody out for Tony Walters.
My guess is Descalso bunts on his own. And it wasn't a very good bunt again. Descalso ends up running down the first baseline, watching it, trying to see if it would stay fair. You see the English. You see Descalso on the grass.
And, you know, Rivera didn't even let that thing completely roll out. It's like he swiped at it when it's still on the line. And John Tempane standing right there. He said, it's on the line. It's fair ball.
I don't think there could be a better Rockies hitter at the plate right now with the bases loaded. 4 for 5 this season.
Well, we said it earlier. Said we needed Tony, his first at bat. We said need Tony to come up with the bases loaded at some point today. Here he is.
Where are you hiding that crystal ball? I'm going to find it.
The veteran lefty Antonio Bastardos had to get up as Familia is 15 pitches in. The Rockies with the bases full, nobody out, trailing 1-0. Good speed at the plate. 1-1. And you have a rookie at the plate in Tony Walters, who has more confidence offensively right now than probably at any point of his brief big league career. Base hit his first time up against DeGrom. 1 for 3 overall. On deck to pinch hit is switch hitter Cristhian Adames.
Rockies have to find a way to score a run this inning. Ball in play, even if it's a double play, is going to score. The way that the infield is drawn up, you're not giving much chase to Trevor Story at third base.
One and two on Tony Walters.
We haven't seen many split fingers or sliders out of Familia yet. And given the situation with the potential wild pitch, if you're Tony Walters, you're just looking for fastballs.
Another 1-2. One out. It will be Cristhian Adames.
Pretty much worst case scenario for the Rockies, getting a strikeout with the bases loaded. And you see the movement, 98 miles an hour, down and away. Familia reaching back. See the depth of that pitch.
So Adames now with one out. Cristhian 8 for 37 pinch hitting, but from the left side he's 7 for 24. Average depth for the outfield. Infield again set for two up the middle, and he's got to get up the line. He doesn't miss a play. Tied up at one. And Familia wasn't getting to first in time. James Loney, one of the better defensive first basemen in the league, got over there, but he did not pick up the baseball, and it's tied still with one out. And that will bring up the top of the order in Charlie Blackmon.
Expect to see Terry Collins walk out, make the change. Jeurys Familia never got off the mound, so even if James Loney's able to throw him out at second base, there's no chance to make a double play. This is going to score a run. Good job by Adames, just putting the ball in play. Watch Familia playing spectator on the mound. Not that it mattered, but it could have.
It's an E3 and an RBI for Adames. David Dahl with great speed is the go-ahead run. Now the infield comes in. Familia stays out there. Blackmon at the plate. And Charlie fouls that first pitch off. 0 for 4 today for Blackmon. Had most of yesterday off. Rockies saw he was fatigued. Charlie sat out yesterday until he came in defensively late in the ball game. He had one at bat. He walked in the 9th inning. Charlie, a tough guy to double. And because of that, the Mets have brought the infield in, trying to cut the run off at the plate. It's another very similar situation. Try to get a ball up that you can lift. Granderson has a good arm in right field. Johnson's a third baseman really in left field. Piazza's solid arm at center. Rivera keeps it around. It's 1-1.
That's the first slider we've seen.
Yeah, we talk about it so frequently, Spilly, offensively, and here's that slider in the dirt.
It's not even close.
And it's a great block by Rivera. We talk about hitters who have great track records losing their confidence. Well, this guy has an unbelievable track record, yet he's not pitching with confidence.
It's obvious. You can see it. We saw it after the first batter, after Trevor Story. Quick conversations with the catcher, calling him out, pumping on his chest to say, my bad, my bad. It's obvious. He's on the ropes right now, and the Rockies have a chance to knock him out.
Story just scored. The Rockies are even at 1. They've trailed since the 2nd inning. Had only one runner in scoring position the whole day until this 9th inning. 1-1 to Blackman. And this skips away. Here comes Dahl with the go-ahead run. 2-1 Colorado. Exactly what you were talking about.
You can see it. You understand when you're watching a pitcher and you can see the confidence. You see how he carries himself on the mound. And Mets fans are letting Jeurys Familia and Terry Collins know. Rene Rivera's trying to get his closer to throw pitches. That's a sinker where it goes 56 feet. It's not even close to the plate.
And as opposed to the slider, where there's an expectation that the ball may be in the dirt, from a catcher's perspective, this is the hardest pitch of all to block. And now they'll go ahead and load the bases again and put Charlie on to set up the double play for LeMahieu. Rockies lead it 2-1. Trying to win for the first time this year, trailing going to the 9th. You're going to have a guy at the plate in LeMahieu, who I need not tell you is going to force Familia to get it in the zone, but Familia is not going to be the guy he faces. Terry Collins is going to yank his big closer, and it's 2 tough outings in a row for Jeurys Familia. And you can eliminate him from the equation tomorrow, oh, by the way, also, just because of usage the last few days. The Rockies have taken the lead in Queens.
Bases loaded and looking to add more. And on August 8th, it's another Purple Monday. So wear purple, win prizes, and the first 5,000 fans will receive a Purple Monday Rockies flag.
But right now, our purple on this Thursday in New York is working well. The Rockies have rallied for 2 and perhaps more here in the top of the 9th inning. Hansel Robles is another guy that's pitched well for the Mets, particularly of late. 5-0 with a 140 since June 21st.
Well, you like the 57 strikeouts, 49 innings pitched, a low whip. And if you're DJ LeMahieu, we know he leads baseball with grounded into double plays with 16. Like to see a fly ball anywhere in the outfield. Those that take a base hit.
Bases loaded, 1 out, 2 runs in for Colorado. DJ takes a strike at 97. On a pitch that he thought was in. DJ all year, one of the leading hitters in the National League. Had a base hit last inning. Line drive to right. That worked well here. 0-2. Now we'll flip to the statistic that tells us that DJ is one of the better 2-strike hitters in the game.
Most of the time, if you're just a normal hitter, 0-2, you want to crawl into a hole and just hide. DJ, he thrives 2-strike situations.
Somebody somewhere will yell, "Take one for the team." Easier said
than done at
99.
No, thank you.
I'm wearing that one on my rib cage.
We have a 1-run lead.
One, 2. Strike 3. Now it's hard to cover 20 inches of the plate. It's supposed to be 17 inches. 2 of those 3 pitches were off the plate, in and away.
Robles reaching back. His average fastball really about 94 miles an hour today, 98 to 99. Height-wise, good pitch. Location, not crazy about it. As long as the Rockies get it next inning, I can live with 20-inch strike zone today.
Nolan Scufflin today. He's fouled out twice, popped out another time, and struck out. take a strike there. He can make the whole day feel a whole lot better here with a knock. 2 outs, bases loaded. Descalso at third. Adames at second. Blackman at first. Shocked. I'm looking out at Diaz in center field. He's shaded towards right center field. I mean, on occasion, Nolan will hit the ball to the outfield the other way. But we know he pulls, especially in the air, most everything.
Changeup and slider are the secondary pitches for Robles. But where his fastball is at today, Rivera's probably going to go back to it.
8, 9, and 1 due up in the bottom half of the 9th for the Mets.
Pitch at 98 miles an hour. He's throwing about 5 miles an hour harder today than he normally sits at. Try to get that outside corner where it's been large today.
Nolan covered it. Rockies trying to end a 10-game losing streak at Citi Field. They've had only 1 losing streak on the road longer than their current 10-game slide in New York. San Francisco. They lost 13 straight between 1999 and 2001. They've had some other 10-gamers. In fact, they had another one at Shea Stadium between 03 and 05. Marlins in the mid-90s, the Reds, their first 2 years. Nolan relaxed and ready to go. Another 0-2. And another pop-up. But the Rockies rally for 2 runs to take the lead. Trevor Story got it going with a base hit. He'd have a stolen base. And a huge error on James Loney, then a wild pitch. The Rockies will try to get the close when we come back.
You'll never guess what it is. Not in a million years. Guess.
Football, $25.
You won't get it.
Mouth guard, $10.
Put it in. Try it. See how it fits.
First aid kit, $40.
Yeah, Coach said you got cut.
What? Getting them something they'll actually enjoy.
Oh, cut.
Priceless. This year, find the perfect gift for everyone you know with MasterCard's Gift Finder at Priceless.com.
It's a football. I told you.
Beautiful Friday night on this holiday weekend in the Mile High City. Rockies trying to kick the weekend off with a come-from-behind victory. Mark Reynolds chatting up Dave McKay is in the ball game at first base now. So the last 3 innings, 3 different first basemen for the Rockies. Steven Cardullo for an inning, Gerardo Parra. And now Mark Reynolds on the hill. Carlos Estevez. Welcome to September baseball.
A lot of scratch outs on our scorecard so far tonight. But for me, I want to see Carlos Estevez get back to commanding his fastball. His last outing against the Dodgers, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits.
Jordan Lyles went 2 innings, gave up 2 runs, 3 hits. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 1. Another strike. It's 0-2. This is Ricky Weeks Jr., powerful guy. Number of good seasons in Milwaukee. He's hurt the Rockies this year, 6 for 13. Chip Hale was complimenting Ricky before the ball game. Look out. Wow. Look at that. That's like a pitch bag. Almost went all the way back to the mound.
Esteves looking like he's trying to go inside, and that ball got completely away from Carlos.
I'll tell you what, that's scary. That was helmet high. Slow roller, tough play. Out at first base. That's a great play by Adames. You know, Ricky Weeks can still get up the line. That was a tough pickup, and then a great throw on the run by Adames.
It's all about the first step, and it's about the transfer from the ball, from the glove to your hand. Ricky still runs well down the first baseline. In between hop, it took him a second to get the ball out of the glove. Mark Reynolds, who, by the way, he has told me he is not flexible. He just stretches out to try everything he can to get that out.
Well, for a guy who's not flexible, boy, he looked like Guppy at times. That's right. Spilly, you said it best. That was a Spillyism. I love it.
Yeah, for a guy that's not flexible, he's flexible.
He's flexible. It's the best explanation yet. One on Gene Segura. That's hit in the air to Cargo and right. He's got room.
Rockies dugout stores are the place for all things Rockies, and the only place you can get the Nolan Arenado Colorado bobblehead series.
E.J. Pollock, a 2-run home run. His last at bat to give at the time Arizona a 7-6 lead. His first home run since returning from elbow surgery. Towering shot to left. One and two. Seven runs, 11 hits for the Rockies, 2 errors, 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Diamondbacks. The strikeout of A.J. Pollock. It's his 6th straight scoreless appearance, by the way, from Carlos Esteves. Middle of 8, tied at 7. Mark Reynolds will lead off, and Mark has produced the Rockies' only run. That was a double back in the first inning. He's 1 for 3, and the Rockies will see Mark Melancon. So I know Sully was talking about the bullpen. We were talking about it last inning, the troubles for Pittsburgh so far this year, but the Rockies are seeing the good side of Pittsburgh's bullpen these first 2 days. Tony Watson, Mark Melancon. Rockies had an opportunity yesterday against Melancon.
They had a base hit against Mark, another one from Descalso, so they had first and second working in that top half of the 9th inning, and then Charlie flew out to left to end the ball game. From Melancon, he did pick up save number 14 on the season last night.
Mark takes strike one, 9 for 17 this year against the Pirates. Well, that looked in. Nasty curveball, and it's 0-2.
But as a hitter, because that first one was called a strike, you get more anxious, and then you would fire at that. If it's ball one, you probably don't, and then you're 1-1.
Two-strike count. And That is a cutter on the inside corner, strike 3.
It's the hardest thing about a closer that throws a cutter like Melanson is, do you back off the plate? Do you think that the ball's going to cut away from you? But he has the ability to throw it inside to a right-handed hitter and then use it, much like we talk about with a pitcher that using a hip side sinker. He does a hip side cutter. On the Subaru Supermo, it has somewhat of the spin of a slider, but it doesn't have the depth of a slider.
So here's Cargo. His first at bat came in an inning ago in a straight up move as he went in for Ryan Rayburn, and I thought it was a really sharp move. You and I were talking about it during the commercial break by Walt Weiss, because had he done a double switch, Cargo would have hit where Adames did in the 9th spot. He would have faced Tony Watson.
And he knew that Watson is their only left-hander that they have. So when does he use? He's using the 8th inning. So if he double switches, like conventional wisdom might say, then he would have faced Watson. But now he gets Melanson here in the 9th inning.
0-2. Now 1-2. Cargo, as you know, has been in a funk. He's 0 for his last 15, 2 for his last 31. And when you're in one of those funks, it seems like every time you go to the plate, it's 0-2, 1-2.
Might as well just look up at the board, and that's what it is.
Behind 1-2. Strike 3, cutter. Got the outside corner.
It was on the corner of the Subaru strike zone.
Gerardo Parra faced him last night, hit a ground ball to short. Here's that pitch again.
But just look where Cervelli had set up. His body was off the strike zone, but because of the ball and where it ended up, he reached back across his body to catch it. I mean, that's a catcher knowing his pitcher and the action of the baseball.
Rockies have Chad Qualls and Jake McGee up. McGee, if the Rockies were to score, Qualls otherwise. No swing, 1 ball, 1 strike. Crowd of more than 31,000, not happy. Parra's been in a little bit of a funk also. He's just 1 for his last 20. Two and 1.
Crowd's not happy again, but it was the same pitch, the same result, same swing by Gerardo.
Rockies have had 2 base runners since the 3rd inning.
Just looking at it, it was way back in the 2nd inning before, or the last time anybody was out at second base.
These are the games the Rockies have seen a lot of, especially on the West Coast. Got to find a way. These tight, low-scoring games.
They attempted to throw the pitch that they struck Cargo out to Gerardo. Cut fastball. Gerardo wastes that.
It's also one of these deals. If the Rockies don't score here and Qualls can get him into extra innings, I always felt like it swung, the advantage swung back toward the visiting team because the closer's out of the way and the setup man is out of the way on the home side.
Yeah, so now that for a manager, he flips back to that guy that would pitch in the 6th inning. He's usually the guy that would start in the 10th inning
for the home club.
For the home club.
Clint's not worried about that right now, and Gerardo has fouled off 2 tough pitches.
Bottom third of the order due up for Pittsburgh in the bottom of the 9th. 2-2 on Parra. That's fair ball. And it's thrown up the right field line. Bad throw by Cervelli. Parra to second. Boy, that's a routine play. Right out in front of the plate. And Cervelli just, and I don't think there's any moisture on it because it's not touching the grass. He just made a poor throw.
And he cleared himself. Watch how much he clears himself from Parra and then misses Jaso by 4 feet. It's his 5th error of the season. That's the most among all National League catchers.
Now the Rockies will try to make him pay. And it's Daniel Descalso to pinch hit. Descalso had a base hit against Melanson last night. Lined the ball to left field. That would work well. Inside. Daniel got a start a couple of days ago in St. Louis. Threw out a couple of hits and a couple of ribbies. First week back for Descalso after breaking his hand in spring training. Two and 0.
Just a reminder of the arms for the outfield. A very strong Polanco, not playing very deep in left field. He played right last night. Of course, remember Starling Marte and his throw in center field. But Matt Joyce in right, he's got the weakest arm out there. It's well below average. The easier guy to run on if it's hard hit.
That catches his own. And listen, with 2 outs in a 1-1 game, Stu Cole, unless it's really unusual, he's going to send Parra, who has above average speed. He did the right thing last night. I know some people I saw on social media, why did he send him? It's the absolute right thing to do in a tight ball game. You still force, and we know how good an arm Marte has, you still have to force him to make a 230, 240 foot throw perfectly.
And that's what he did.
Ball in, 3-1 on the veteran Daniel Descalso.
You're right. That throw last night was 232 feet, and he threw it over 100 miles an hour. So you tip your cap.
Right, but it's still, listen, he's got a howitzer. We know that, but it still has to be right on the money.
And it was bang bang at the plate.
And it was still bang bang at the plate. 3-1 on Descalso. Here is that throw that Marte made to cut down Garneau last night.
It's behind it. And then one hop to Cervelli. And you still see how close it was. Dustin did everything he could to avoid the tag. And then he just swipes down on his shoulder before. I mean, that's 3 inches away from the plate.
Three-two, ball 4. So with the walk, Tony Walters will come up. Tony's 0 for 3, reached on an error back in the 2nd inning. Who wants tacos? Folks, follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when Colorado scores 7 or more runs. So here we go, Walters against Melanson. Okay, one thing this is probably going to do, Huey.
Knock him out for tomorrow.
That's exactly right. Remove Melanson from the equation on Sunday.
Next pitch will be 22. Last night, 13. And if you get a base hit, you extend him even further.
Tony's trying to find his way, trying to find his identity as an offensive player at this level. Just a 23-year-old kid, never played AAA. One. This kicks away, and everybody's going to move up. So on a wild pitch, Rockies have 2 in scoring position, but it's a 1-2 count on Walters.
This was a curveball. It wasn't the cut fastball. Over the top knuckle curve that skips away from Cervelli. I think now, if I'm Tony at the plate, I'd take that out of any sort of equation of what pitch he might throw. He wouldn't want to bounce it again. He'll go to his bread and butter, the cutter.
1-2.
Well, Parra
can get off as far as David Freese is away from the bag.
And he bluffed that he was going to, in hopes of enticing Melanson to a balk, because Freese is playing 35 feet off the bag at third.
Two and two.
He didn't throw that curveball with conviction.
You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, that was like, I don't even know why he went to it, because
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, he threw that like there's no way I'm going to bounce it. So now it's 2-2.
And as far as Gerardo's off, any sort of ball away from home, he could score.
Cutter, and it is off the bag, dropped. Walters reaches. Rockies are going to score 2. 3-1. It hit the bag. Jaso tried to field it with his bare hand, stumbled, and the Rockies get 2 runs out of it on the base hit by Tony Walters. You're looking for a break. The Rockies just got a huge one.
And for as many plays as John Jaso had made over at first, you're thinking there's no way he could come up with this. I mean, that reminds me of that play that Ozzie Smith made up the middle where he dives and it takes a bad hop and he barehands it. That's what Jaso was trying to do at first. Watch him trying to catch that, and now all the stumbling, he can't pick it up. And Descalso scores from second base.
He did everything he could.
He did.
And we always go back to the old line. If you get it in play, you never know.
And Tony got it in play and knocks in a couple runs, and you're up 3-1.
Great heads-up base running. Descalso never broke stride, as you described. 3-1 Colorado. So Tony Walters with a little bouncer off the first base bag, and now the Rockies have a 3-1 lead. Jared Hughes is on, replacing Melanson, and Cristhian Adames with his second at bat. They have scored it for the moment. I'm saying for the moment because they may change this. They've scored it a base hit, 1 RBI, and then they've given an error to Jaso, I guess, for failing to pick up the baseball.
After he knocked it down with his bare hand.
This ball's well hit to center field by Adames, and it is gone.
Wow.
Dead center field. Cristhian Adames with his first of the year. Make it 5-1 Colorado. How about that?
That's the exclamation point.
And that not only is the first of the year, that's Cristhian Adames's first of his career.
And it's still sitting out in the plants that spell out Pirates in center field. I mean, that's the exclamation point on the end of this inning. And there it sits.
Good, because Cristhian will get it. Yeah, good
dance around
in the dugout.
Well, Jared Hughes, first pitch. I see it out to center.
Good for Cristhian Adames. You and I were chatting with Walt Weiss yesterday, and this ball is well hit to center field. And this is tracked down out there by Marte. Rockies score 4 in the frame, and we'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Walt Weiss was saying how much he appreciates this young man, Cristhian Adames. Says he's a really good player, just can't get him in the lineup. He hits his first career home run, and the Rockies lead it 5-1 in Pittsburgh.
And now another priceless pep talk from Peyton Manning.
I heard you're bummed about driving a minivan. That's okay. It's okay. Is it at least like a sport turbocharged minivan or something? No? All right, here's what you're gonna do. Take that baby out and paint some flames on it, or get a cool decal. Maybe like a number 18 on the side or something. Yeah, you're feeling me. You love it.
Go to Priceless.com for a personalized pep talk you can send to a friend.
It's been a terrific night for the Rockies offense and a terrific night for Tyler Anderson on the hill. Colorado up 12-2 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Here's a preview of what's to come afterward. Jenny Kavnar and the boys.
All right, Drew, thanks. I could get used to some Loto magic. What do you guys think?
Of course I can get used to Loto magic. People are going crazy, and you should be. Tyler Anderson tonight was fantastic. 7 innings pitch, another quality start, and we're going to break down how he did it on a hitter's night.
More importantly, on that hitter's night, the first 6 guys of the Rockies offense, 15 for 27. That's 555, 5 home runs, and 11 RBIs.
You love it. Of course, Carlos Gonzalez leaving this game. We will update you on his status. You don't want anything bad after we just heard of Trevor Story's loss for the season yesterday. Guys, we'll see you after the game.
All right, Jenny, thank you. And a nice play by DJ LeMahieu. He'll get up and throw out Scott Van Slyke. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 9th inning.
And that's what you like to see when you come into the ball game like Gonzalez-Jermin did. 1 pitch. DJ calmly throws it over to first base. Gonzalez last pitch Saturday in New York. 1 inning. Clean across the board. Jordan Lyles in his 1 inning worked through only 6 pitches.
Adrian Gonzalez is 1 for 3. Base hit to left field in the 4th inning. Change up for a strike, 1-1. Pitching matchup tomorrow. Tyler Chatwood for the Rockies. Kenta Maeda, who was pushed back a day. He'll go for the Dodgers. 9-7. They pushed him back because they've noticed as he makes his 22nd start that he's been much better with longer rest, or what is more typical of Japan.
Exactly. They have usually 5 to 6-7 days in between their starts over in Japan.
More off days over there.
More off days. So that's what they're trying to do, is buy the rookie, and he is rookie classification wise. Some extra time.
Gonzalez walks. Kubota pitching performance tonight. Tyler Anderson gives up a 2-run home run in the first to Justin Turner, and then he put his foot down. At one point he retired 11 out of 12. And the final numbers on the evening, outstanding. Another quality start, high quality start. Let's add that adjective to his outing. 2 runs over 7 innings at Coors Field.
Well, let's also add his longest start in the major leagues at 7 innings.
7 straight starts for Tyler of working at least 6 innings. He said he lowered his ERA to what, 3 1/4.
Yep.
Ground ball to third. 1 on to first. Double play. Ball game over. And the Rockies have taken the first 2 against the Dodgers. Last night it was 7-3. Tonight it's 12-2 as the Rockies pound out 17 hits. Tyler Anderson improves to 4-3. And that ERA of 3.25, the lowest of any Rocky starter through 10 ball games. Stewart takes the loss. Brock Stewart's now 0-2. And this is the latest the Rockies have been above 500 as they improved to 54 and 53 since the last game of 2010. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a ball game. Santiago Casilla, with 31 saves, including one last night, is on the mound at Coors Field. Last night in the 9th inning, he faced Nolan Arenado, David Dahl, and Gerardo Parra. Tonight he'll face Nolan Arenado, David Dahl, and Tommy Murphy.
Nolan had the deep fly out last night to right. Dahl walked, and then there was a double play off the bat of Parra. Casilla also has 7 blown saves.
Trouble is the Rockies' offense in the second half of these last 2 games has been dormant.
And I think back to what Corey was saying on the pregame show about what he was rooting for is 8 innings worth of offense. And you know, you think back to Monday, they had 1 base hit after the 3rd inning, a couple walks. Last night, 1 base hit after the 4th inning. Tonight, same thing, just 1 base hit after the 4th inning. But that can all change right here. Need another walk-off here.
Create some traffic first. Arenado 1 for 3. This hit was in the 1st inning when the Rockies, with 2 outs, put 3 hits together. And a double down the left field line. He takes strike 1. Casilla basically took over the closer spot a few years ago when Sergio Romo was bounced out of it, and the team that knocked Sergio Romo from his seat as the closer of the Giants was the Rockies.
They got after him big time that year. Bruce Bochy said, I've seen enough. See, you're my closer.
It's on the outer edge, and it's 0-2. Ball and 2 strikes on Nolan. Out of play.
That year we were talking about with Sergio Romo, 2014, Drew, 11 games. He was just 1 for 4 in save opportunities. Rockies hit 400 against him, and he had an ERA of 12. That'll get you bounced.
That'll get you moved out of the 9th inning role. David Dahl, who swung it well tonight, is on deck. This ball's well hit left center field. Way back, and it's a 1-run game. Number 37 for Arenado.
That's the start you're looking for. It took 5 pitches for Nolan to finally get the pitch he liked. First pitch was a slider. Nolan says, I'm not looking for a slider first pitch, even if it's called a strike. Second pitch, 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Thought it was out. It was called a strike. And a slider down and away at 89. Fouls this one straight back. Top of the zone at 94. And then how about a split slider? Split meaning it was splitting the plate right at the belt. 37 home runs, 118 RBIs.
Just moved ahead of Chris Bryant for the National League lead in home runs with 37.
Let's take another look at this. Nolan's done this a number of times in his career against the Giants and against a lot of people.
One 1-0 on Dahl, who's hit a home run tonight. Fouled that one off his leg. It's a ball and a strike. Nolan with his 118th RBI, 20 more ribbies than anybody else in the National League. Nolan played every game against the Giants. Listen, he torments the Giants. He torments the whole NL West, though.
That's who you want to do it against. All the games you play, 18, 19 games against your division rivals.
22 RBIs this year against the Giants. '43 home runs against the NL West since last year. Good swing. And 125 RBIs. That's crazy. Got 125 RBIs in the division alone since the start of 2015.
That's why his name is mentioned in the MVP talk.
Now it's nobody out. It's a one-run game. Get on. Manufacture a run. It getting that leadoff home run changes the complexion of the inning. How you can play it. You got to get a base runner.
David Dahl's fouling off Casillas' slider.
Nolan trying to chase his own personal record against the Giants, set last year. Tied Preston Wilson. 24 ribbies against the Giants in 1 year.
And Bernie, Jeremy Burnitz.
And takes a third strike.
Well, unfortunately, it was in the Subaru strike zone. Had all the sliders down and in, and then they backdoor one on him. Huge first out for Casillas. Back in the fourth inning. Tom Murphy, second home run of the year, the solo shot. 17 rows deep.
Out of the University of Buffalo. Outside. It's a one-run game now again. Giants 26 and 23. The Rockies just 9 and 18.
Was a knee buckler.
Murphy lines into center field, a base hit. Tommy Murphy with a one-out single. The Rockies will elect to get a runner for Murphy.
We had the knee buckler the pitch before. They threw the slider, he backed up. Not this time. Slider. He doesn't back up on it, and he hits it to center field. Now we get a pitch hitter, Charlie Blackmon.
Blackmon to hit for Cardula. And you'll also get Pat Valleca, who made his Major League debut yesterday as a pinch runner. And he's going to pinch run here with 1 out in the 9th inning for Murphy. He pinch ran in the 9th inning yesterday. Boach is going out.
Bringing the left-hander in.
Going to bring in the hard-throwing left-hander Josh Osich. So he's going to piecemeal the 9th now in a 1-run game. The plot thickens. The Giants now a 1-run lead after the home run by Arenado leading off the inning. After the David Dahl strikeout, Murphy singled. Pat Vallejo's now running for him. And instead of letting your closer go with all the arms down there, with some of the issues with blown saves for Casilla, Bruce Bochy goes and brings in Josh Osich to face Charlie Blackmon, making his first appearance in 5 days.
For Josh, lefty's hitting 130 off of him. A couple home runs, and that came courtesy of Cargo. It's time to change it up for Charlie against Josh. In the previous matchups, Josh has won. Charlie's 0 for 6. Change that up right now, Mr. Blackmon.
Nick Hundley has a bat and a helmet on. He'll pinch hit for Descalso, you would think. Daniels on deck. The Rockies do not have another right-handed bat available other than Adames, who is a switch hitter. Justin Garneau would be the other guy. Mark Reynolds, if you're wondering, he's not with the club right now. His wife gave birth to a baby boy yesterday.
That's part of the reason why he didn't go in late in the game last night for defense.
He'll join the club on the West Coast. But congratulations to the Reynolds, their 3rd little boy. One and one on Charlie. Time granted by Chris Caccione.
Everybody in the ballpark could hear that.
Osich has never had a major league save. Charlie gets drilled, and now the tying run to second. He's been a magnet lately.
It's the 13th time this year Charlie has been hit by a pitch.
So Descalso's called back, and Hundley.
Well, now that he's been announced, take a look at some of the numbers for Nick. Home runs, you name it. 294 on the homestand, leading the team with the 3 home runs and the 8 RBIs. Now after Nick was announced, Bruce Bochy will make that walk back out again, go to his bullpen and bring in the veteran right-hander, the 41-year-old Joe Nathan.
You know it's September. 1 out, 2 on. And Nick Hundley's going to pinch hit for Daniel Descalso, and he's going to get the 41-year-old Joe Nathan, who's actually throwing the ball very well. It'll be just the 5th appearance for Joe Nathan. Back from injury, Joe made his debut for the San Francisco Giants way back in 1999. He was a starting pitcher back then. And he beat the Florida Marlins in his debut with 7 shutout innings.
Well, he was drafted as a shortstop in 1995. 2-time Tommy John surgery guy. 3 377 career saves, 16 Major League seasons for Joe Nathan.
Pitched in just one game last year with Detroit. His last full season was 2014 with the Tigers, and he had 35 saves. So Joe Nathan, who's still touching 94 with his fastball, inherits 2 runners on, trying to protect a 1-run lead. Nick Hundley's trying to please the home folks. He has been hot. Outside, ball 1. Joe Nathan, originally drafted out of Stony Brook out on Long Island. Valleca at second, Blackman at first, so good speed on. And the outfield is backed up.
They're deep out there. A lot of green grass.
And that's well off the plate. Adames is in the on-deck circle. The pitcher spot is up next. The Rockies could tie it up. Adames will be in the game regardless at shortstop. You would think, though Pat Valleca, I should mention, plays short also. It's a tall order to put a rookie in a Major League debut at shortstop.
Well, first things first, let's not worry about that. Go ahead and have a walk-off.
That's right.
Have a happy flight.
2-0. Called strike. Good decision to not swing at that. That ball was down. Obviously, Nick's looking for something up he can drive.
And especially after the first 2 pitches from Nathan were way out of the zone on sliders. Don't get overly aggressive. You see pitches 1 and 2 on the Subaru strike zone. And even pitch 3 is not a pitch you're going to swing at 2-0.
Two and 2.
Tardy on the fastball from Nick.
And now Nick backs out. Nick drives this ball to center field. It's shallow. Coming on is Pagan. Can't make the catch. Throw to second. Not in time for the force. And the bases are loaded.
Well, that's what you get when you're playing no doubles. That little blooper, that bleeder, it hung up there for so long, though. I thought maybe it was going to hang up too long. You got the center fielder Hernandez playing deep. Angel Pagan motoring in. Never catch it. Goes sliding by. Misses it by the. Oh, it goes off the end of his glove. The Subaru Supermo, and then the hustle from Valleca, but the hustle from Charlie to get into second base. Nick Hundley coming through with his first pinch hit this year.
So Cristhian Adames, a chance to play hero. 1 out, bases loaded, tying run at third, winning run at second. And Adames has had a great homestand. 8 for 16. He's come alive with the bat.
And if you're Stu Cole on any base hit, you're going. You're going to challenge the outfield arms for the Giants.
This kind of victory, if the Rockies can produce it, has been so elusive this year.
all started with the home run to lead off this inning by Nolan on a 1-2 pitch. There's the guy that started this whole thing when you're down by 2.
Just 2 walk-off wins this year. The Rockies have watched the opponent walk off Colorado 6 times. Here's the 1-0. Finally, the Giants' bullpen is empty. There are other guys down there, but nobody's warming up.
They still have 6 guys out in their bullpen. 4 right-handers, 2 left-handers.
Ochi's going to live and die with the 41-year-old Joe Nathan. One. Drive to deep right. Pence going back. It is over his head. Cristhian Adames has won it. Cristhian Adames with a walk-off double. How do you like that?
I got goosebumps. It's exciting.
A week ago, not the most likely candidate to be at the bottom of the dog pile.
What an inning this has been. Contributions from everybody. Nolan, Tom Murphy with the base hit. Charlie Blackmon coming off after not playing for 3 or 4 days with a bad back. He gets hit by a pitch. And then Cristhian Adames comes through with a huge blast to right field. Turns on this off the auxiliary scoreboard. 14th hit, pinch hitting, 4th RBI. And will it ever be a happy flight down to San Diego tonight? You betcha.
Good for Cristhian, good for the Rockies. They had nothing going offensively since the 4th inning, and they produced 3 runs in the 9th. And an unlikely win, but a great win for Colorado as we go field level. Here's Mark Stout. Mark?
It is all smiles down here. Tell me about the hit that you just got, Cristhian.
No, just looking something up and try to hit the air to tie the game, but he told me a good pitch and...
That is well deserved. Something up. You just wanted to get it in the air.
Yeah, that's not it.
What did you know about Joe Nathan? Because he's been around a long time.
Yeah, I know. First of all, I was watching the video.
That was a miss hit by Todd. You watched some video.
I was watching some video, and then he got good foul, 92, 93. So tried to hit the ball in the front and look something up.
Congratulations. Great job. Enjoy the flight. Big win.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Cristhian.
You know what? I couldn't be happier for Cristhian Adames, and I know you feel the exact same way. We talked to him quite a bit, and the one thing that's so consistent about Cristhian is every single day he's got this beautiful broad smile on his face. I saw you put your arm around him today around the batting cage, and he turns into a hero late at night.
Well, and good for him, because it's a tough role when you're that utility guy, and you're playing some, but you're not playing a whole lot. And then Trevor goes down, you get a chance to do more, you don't hit then. And then Daniel plays. So it's a really tough role that he's been asked to do as a young guy, but coming through. And when I put my arm around, all I was saying is, make sure you have fun this last month. Finish strong. And he goes, I know, I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep doing my thing, because I've been in that role before, and I'm really proud of him tonight.
Yep, there were a couple other times he had the batting gloves on tonight. Didn't know if his number was going to be called. It was called late, and he came through. Just the 3rd walk-off win this year for the Colorado Rockies. We take a look at our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. He got the barrel head out, and he drove it off the scoreboard in right, and he could celebrate because he knew that it was going to be a winner. Charlie Blackmon follows Pat Valeka to the plate, and the Rockies take 2 of 3 from San Francisco. They finish the homestand 5-4, and it indeed will be a happy late flight to San Diego tonight. The Rockies 6, the Giants 5. The winning pitcher, Jordan Lyles. Osich takes the loss. Here's Jenny.
They ran out of things in the dugout to throw at Cristhian Adames. We're gonna have some fun. Coming up on the Toyota postgame show, I'm a little scared someone might get hurt. They did finally get water on Cristhian Adames, though. What a walk-off win for the Rockies. We'll be right back.